What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Weekly Report right here on the Sports Jedi Network. If you miss anything this week in professional wrestling, don't worry, we got you covered, man. We're going to break down WWE RAW, SmackDown, NXT plus Thursday Night TNA impact, some AEW Dynamite, all the promotions, all the big stories, no fluff. We're going to right to the spin. We got Bron Breakker losing his mind on Raw, Roman Reigns and CM Punk face-to-face Cody Rhodes or Raheem Rhodes hunting down Drew McIntyre. We got Liv Morgan scouting out the opportunities, and we crowned a new NXT World Champion. TNA building for no surrender. AEW delivering one of its wildest dynamites heading into Australia. All the shocks and all that circumstances. Real analysts, real strong opinions, live chat that actually matters. So if you're watching us right now, hit that like button, subscribe, and jump in our chat. We read and acknowledge everyone in our chat. And of course, today's show is sponsored by Dude Wife. Stay fresh, stay clean, stay match ready. And our other partner, Blackout Coffee. Blackout Coffee. Use our promo code SportsJedi20 and save it 20% off. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/rumba. I'm BS Sports Jedi Kev, and in with me, the sharpest mind in the business, the one and only PGA Chris. What's up, Chris? Bring us into Weekly Wrestling Report. Let's go.
No, weekly wrestling, this week in wrestling, there's a lot of news. Felt like a lot more news than situations going on than actual things, in my opinion, that happened throughout this week of wrestling. But I would like to start with Monday Night Raw, because I do think, that's kind of the talking point of this week, in my opinion. I don't mind the way, we'll start with the way they started off. I don't mind the way they started off Monday Night Raw with Bron. It was different because when they cut from the intro, we saw him in the ring right away, and it was like, oh, like they're getting to it right away. Now, my only thing is, could have you had revealed the Masked Man to that or this Monday? Maybe. That you could debate that, but I do like that they gave that, they didn't forget about that. They did start off with that because, I am kind of curious now on where Bron's going to head going into WrestleMania. That I feel like that Masked Man has to be Seth. I just feel like it does. But I like the way they started off with Monday Night Raw. I don't know where that leads Bron Breakker going up to WrestleMania.
That was the post Royal Rumble coming back from Riyadh. The show, we're going to get into the show. To start it off with Bron Breakker going totally irate, it made sense. Having such a short entrance at the Royal Rumble and him destroying pretty much and hijacking the show, I enjoyed it. Could have gone a little bit edgier? We could debate that. Could have Bron totally blasted the security wall that was in front of Adam Pearce? I'm with you. I hope they don't prolong this Masked Man situation, which it seems like it's going to be left for the Chamber. So we got like 20 plus days, 21 days before we actually get the reveal, unless if they're going to show us on Monday Night Raw. I guess they want us to watch the rest of the next 3 weeks to see if they build it. Don't go too long. Don't dangle the carrot, because after a while, there's a better, different vegetable elsewhere if you're not going to give us the payoff right away, Chris. I know this is coming from someone who likes slow building and nice and steady. But when you had something weeks before it and you're being redundant and you're showing it again, you got to be careful that you don't want to go to the well too many times.
That's fair. And I do think they're doing a good job with this story. The Masked Man, they don't have much time. I'm not saying they don't have much time. WrestleMania is still in April, and they do it later this year in April. So they do have, I'm not going to say they don't have time to build up whatever it is between Brock and the Masked Man up for WrestleMania. But, with how we saw the show end, it would have been nice to see maybe that, because again, I think now for Bron, his road to WrestleMania is he will fight the Masked Man. And if you want to build that up, I think you got to start doing that quick. But I don't mind what they did here. I think what they did here was fine. Because again, we still have a couple more weeks to figure this out. I just better do it sooner than later is all I'm saying. But no, I think Bron will be fine. I think he'll win his match at WrestleMania. I really want to know who it is, because Seth is obviously the only guy that makes sense. Now, obviously, we don't know what's happening with injuries. He's been doing a lot of NFL live stuff, like he's been doing, like, or Netflix, like, or whatever, Good Morning, like he's been doing his thing. So I don't know when he's rushing. I don't know if he's rushing to come back. I don't know if they're rushing him to come back. I don't know if. So, but if he is ready, I do think that would be the guy that makes most sense, unless one of the Vision members, like if it was like Logan Paul or something that was in the mask, and you can build that for WrestleMania, I guess. But I don't know who else it would be. Who could it be that Bron Breakker has been? Is it LA Knight? But he was in the Rumble. Like, that's what I don't understand.
There's a lot there because Logan Paul, it kind of seems like everything's pointing towards Logan Paul. The way he was so condescending and the way he was so over the top. Braun should be the guy that wins the Rumble. We all going to offer one. We're going to pull for Braun, and then Braun never enters. Where whatever that story heading and plays the avenue that looks like the most easiest, but does that entice you to want to see Logan Paul, Bron Breakker at a WrestleMania? That means you're turning Braun babyface, and if Braun is going babyface, Heyman isn't really going babyface. Paul,
no,
and as of right now, I like the presentation of Bron Breakker with Paul Heyman right now. I don't need them to split and bear off something different. I like Paul Heyman along with Braun. I don't want babyface Bron Breakker is going to come, but I don't need it forced right now. When you still have Cody running around as a babyface, you have Jacob Fatu, who could possibly be another babyface. You've got Obafemi coming in. We don't know if he's babyface or heel, but he kind of seems like he's going to be this ultra babyface. We don't need Braun yet there at that moment. That's going to happen. I don't want what happened when I saw in NXT, where people were getting barking and saying that Braun wasn't captivating as a babyface until he turned heel. Everyone started glazing him. If he's heel right now, keep him that way right now, because it's not going to work. Seeing him and Logan Paul, I don't know. It's not, to me, the dynamic isn't going to work. I could be wrong, but I don't know, Chris. I'm having second thoughts on that. And LA Knight involved in this. LA Knight being involved, it kind of, are we still being repeating and redundant? Like, do we have anything else to move on? Because we saw all summer LA Knight battle all different types of Vision. We've seen, and I'm going to say this, that was a great feud between LA Knight as United States champion chasing Logan Paul's title at that time when he went to Puerto Rico and he invaded his house. That was great. But are we going to the well too many times again? That's my issue there. Talk about, they were talking about main eventing Cody and Roman because fans fatigue. No, they're not going to do it because they feel like they're going to do too much fatigue in the fans. Well, don't you think Logan Paul and LA Knight is a little fan fatigue, as well as LA Knight with any of the Visions? It's time to go a different avenue and a different feud when it comes to LA Knight. But I don't know, Chris. I'm a little puzzled because I don't trust this creative anymore.
I don't blame you. I think we all don't. But I don't know. We got to figure out who this masked man is, man. That's maybe why this right now is kind of, because I just want to know who the masked man is. I'm sick of masked man and waiting and all this stuff. That is what's being overdone right now, is the fucking masked man. So get it over with, reveal it. Should be next week. Look, that Madison Square Garden show you always mention in March, I hope they don't wait till then.
Oh, for Jericho. That, ladies and gentlemen, when we mentioned that, we were talking off air and we were looking and saying, we noticed Chris. That's obvious. Everyone knows Chris Jericho is leaving AEW. I don't see him returning to All Elite Wrestling. It looks like he's getting a WWE run. Let's face it. I think 85% of us in the wrestling community see Jericho being part of the WWE. When is he going to? He didn't show up at the Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Great. I'm happy he didn't, because it would have lost that crowd is so nostalgic heavy. They probably would have popped. They popped for Brie Bella. They would have went crazy for Jericho. But Jericho's on Fozzy tour. Right now he's in England doing tours with Fozzy. I think he don't have nothing going on in March before WrestleMania. Madison Square Garden, March 30th, they're going to have Monday Night Raw. I think that's when Jericho makes his appearance. People say maybe the Chamber I think it'll be that Madison Square Garden show. Just face it. Look, his dad was a former Ranger. There's a lot of ties with New York City, the Garden, the building. Even though he grew up in Canada, was born in Long Island, New Jersey, all that stuff. I mean, Long Island, New York. Excuse me. My goodness, what a sin I just said there. Combine those two. Combine Long Island and Jersey. My God. I should give up my Bronx card for that one. That was a big botch. Whoa, my God. You see, when you start talking about All Elite and Jericho, you tend to botch. But my point is, that that's where I think Jericho. We were speculating. I think that's where he's going to show up because people's not going to expect it. And New Madison Square Garden, all that good stuff, all that rhetoric. I think that's when he shows up, Chris. That's just me. I could be totally wrong.
You could be right. That's definitely a place that would make the most sense at this point.
Yes, indeed. So we got that from the with Braun. Not everything else on Monday Night Raw. It felt like they were all jet lagged from coming over from Riyadh. The talents that were the matches were not that inspiring. You had Obafemi come out there and pretty much beat down the War Raiders. War Raiders were not scheduled to take on Obafemi. They were scheduled to take on a tag team that we would never know what the hell happened to them. Who was the tag team they were supposed to? The Creeds? We never knew. Oba comes out and just blasts the War Raiders. Oba making a major splash. Some people liked it, some people didn't. They're just trying to show us who Obafemi is right now over the War Raiders. That's all I got out of it. Finn Balor. Now Finn Balor's getting these packages. And I go back to what we said last week, and I still stand by it. And I know, and we then it sucks because we would have not got what we got last night on Monday Night Raw. Excuse me, was Roman and Punk. I couldn't have said Balor should have won the world title and then lose it to Elimination Chamber to Punk, but then we would have not got Roman Reigns face to face with CM Punk. Now I want to get to that part because I don't think anyone's inspired that the Bellas are back. Okay, good. We know they're going to run for the tag team titles. Penta versus Bronson Reed. I'm just going to make these honorable mentions because everybody wants us, and at least me, I want to talk about Roman and CM Punk. Let's get right into that because no one cared about Stephanie Vaquera in that terrible street fight with Raquel Rodriguez. That was sloppy. That was jet lag. That was not. Then we get the Roman Reigns who saved. I think the MVP with Punk. They saved Monday Night Raw. They started off hot with Braun. We're like, oh shit, this is on fire. And then it just went into neutral. And then we had to get the big dog and the best in the world to really much give life support to this bad Monday Night Raw. It was a bad one. Let's be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I love the promo. I love the fact it wasn't long. It was to the point. They blurred the line for some realism or things that were said outside of the WWE walls. Although if you want to consider Pat McAfee show WWE or not, when he says that Punk makes a reference about the creative. He loves Nick Khan, but the creative is lacklustering, which I think that's not no secret to anyone. If the talents are saying this openly, and this is a two-part question. I know I'm going a little bit all over the place. Why the hell is creative not making the right proper adjustments? But Chris, I'm gonna let you go because there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of talking points. First, let's talk about Roman. Go ahead. Why would you like to start first?
Well, talk about the Roman promo. I mean, I thought it was the best thing on the show. Obviously, this was a really good way to get your WrestleMania card kind of heated up and started. But there were a couple. I went and rewatched it because we're on stream Monday. We were listening, but there's other things. Whatever. There were a couple things there was one thing I really took notice that I think hit home for Punk where Roman mentions you went on Cole Cabana's podcast and he made Roman's life a hell, which Cole Cabana's podcast, and I don't think you guys understand because I was listening to that at that time. I don't think during the Shield and Ryback era, I don't think you guys understand that is the reason why Roman, that is not the reason, but that is a big reason on why Roman Reigns' big dog era was so hated by so many people. So I loved, just me personally, who listened to the podcast, who knows what CM Punk said. He basically told the story about the Shield not wanting to put over the Shield, this and that, which he blamed Roman. Roman was a big person that he blamed for that. So, but the point is, them bringing that up, when you look at Punk, it's like, oh man, like this just makes you want to see the match even more, because just like Punk and Rollins when they had their promo face to face, or even at the Netflix thingy where they did at the headquarters, like it felt real. Like they bring up real stuff that has happened. And yes, Millennial, that Colt Cabana podcast back in the day was, dude, you had to be there. You had to be there and listen to those episodes. Oh my God, that was awesome. But my point is, like, I love when you have two of your biggest superstars and they're not afraid to put a little realism, because we're not dumb. Like shit like that, like fans know, like we know the history of some of it. And for them to tell us, like Seth included, like during all this, like these two do a great job. And look, I didn't expect Roman to go down this way against CM Punk, but I love it.
The Colt Cabana podcast, a lot of stuff. It derailed Roman Reigns' big dog run. They booed him at WrestleMania at Rock, holding them up. They felt that Roman was being forced because, let's face it, and this is the problem that the IWC has right now. And it's gonna be a hot take. There's a lot of sheep, not a lot of leaders when it comes to the IWC. There's a lot of people that copy and paste. Mm-hmm. If one person says it, I'm just gonna copy and paste. Yeah, yeah. A lot of copy and pasting of the same topics or the same points across, where a lot of people don't want. They're afraid of being their own islands of relevancy when it comes to their own comments and their own thought process. You could agree to have the same. There's nothing wrong with agreeing with the same mindset, but they repeat it exactly down to the word, to the T. And I can see where Roman Reigns gets upset. It's happening even currently now when with the big dog, or with anything that happens in the wrestling community. This this person doesn't like it, or this person says it louder. Yeah, it must be true. Case in point, Jay Cargill. I'm gonna but I don't want to jump out of our topic here where we're talking about the Punk and Roman situation. Love the fact that Roman used the word that in wrestling is like, oh damn. He used the word hate. You know why I'm picking you? Not because you're the easiest, not because I hate you. And like you said, when you talk about the Colt Cabana and Punk was talking from the heart, straight up shooting, saying, these guys, they were force feeding and which is to a point. And when Roman says, I hate you for all the things that he went through, it hooked me because there's some realism, Whenever you have some, and in a world where we're doing unreal, showing, peeking behind the curtains, these guys went out there and they spoke right from the shoot, right through the hoop in via wrestling promo. And this is what I said. This was done well, and I hope that Roman is not toothpaste that they're trying to put back into the tube. What I mean by that is that he had his time, and they're trying to heat them up, which if they do it different, which they're doing now, I think it's going to work, Chris. But we have to have the patience. I know a lot of people are crying about, I don't want a part-timer holding the title again. He's not going to show up on vacation. How do we know that he says, you know what, I'm going to be a little more invested this time around? The company needs me.
They're going to complain if he's there or not. Oh, he's a part-timer. He's not here enough. Oh my God, why is Roman Reigns here? He doesn't need this anymore. We're gonna no matter how you put it with Roman Reigns, he's going to get hate no matter what, whether he's there or not. So at this point, put the freaking world title on him, and he's not gonna have a run like he did with that undisputed title, which is why I think a lot of fans don't want to see him win another world title again. And I understand that you're not gonna relive any of that, but I think Roman Reigns has done a good job over the years, long-term storytelling, right? With him talking about that championship, specifically the one that Punk has, calling it secondary, and, what we saw with Drew McIntyre. Like, I think he could win this title to make that title the best thing. I mean, because what he said on Raw was right. when he said, I'm not going to pick you because you're the biggest superstar, and I'm not going to pick you because you're on Netflix as the biggest show. Those two things are true. Punk is probably the biggest star, and Netflix is their biggest show. So that championship should be number one. Why not put it on Roman Reigns and make it that way? But either way, he's going to get hate because he's a part-timer. When he's there, we're getting we're getting forced to see Roman Reigns, this and that. When he's not there, where's Roman Reigns? He never shows up. It's not going to change. So I don't care what they do with him because I like Roman Reigns, and I think he can make, like you said, if he does want to show up for a couple, programs throughout the year, because he wrestles 6 days a year.
That was last year.
Who knows? That's what I'm saying. Like if he does a little more, like if he's at all the major PLEs, like WrestleMania, obviously he was at the Rumble. If he doesn't need to be at the Chamber, but if he's at like SummerSlam, if he's even at Backlash, like it could work. If he does like all the major PLEs and maybe like one Backlash or even a Saudi show, like I wouldn't see the big deal about him winning the title.
Didn't he say that he says, I went away for almost 2 years, like taking a limited schedule so you could elevate and bring the new stars. They haven't. They haven't done shit. So now he says, you know what? Thanos, fine, I'll do it myself. So don't complain. If no one's gotten the company super over, because let's face it, as many as you call Cody lovers, Cody has not elevated SmackDown.
No,
he has not elevated that.
He hasn't made it boring, but he hasn't made it exciting. Nothing like, dude. We saw yesterday in SmackDown, we saw Drew McIntyre 3 fucking times, and I'm telling you right now, if that was Cody Rhodes, I would have thrown a fit. I mean, we'll talk about that later when we get to the SmackDown portion, but my thing is with Cody, like he can't go out there, in my opinion, like he has his fans, all right? People like Cody. Like I'm not disputing that, and I'm not also denying the fact that he is the third biggest star in that company, in my opinion. I think Roman and Punk are top 1 and 2. He's probably the third biggest star in that company, biggest star on the SmackDown brand, no question. And his ratings, I don't care about ratings. I'm going to say that right now. Ratings people think they mean the world. They really don't mean. That's just a small portion of whatever. That's another topic for a different day. But my point is, if you're somebody who looks at the ratings, whatever, and care about that shit, they have not been steady up since Cody has been in this new, face of the SmackDown brand. It just hasn't. And, statistics show. The facts show. And look, who has he put over? Even with the loss, I can name you 3 guys off my head that Roman's put over when he's beaten them. LA Knight, Logan Paul, and Kevin Owens. I didn't say now the Kevin Owens and Cody feud was good. I think that's fair. It wasn't bad.
That was a good feud.
It was a good feud. I don't think his match with AJ at Backlash was good. The crowd definitely made it better, but that was a good opening match for the title. And the one thing I could say about Cody is when even on some of those PLEs, right? He wasn't main eventing. Like he wouldn't mind being the opener or whatever. So I can give that to him in a sense, but still, he has not delivered as the face, in my opinion. In just me personally, I know he's selling merch, I know he's selling tickets, all this and that, but that's cool. But he's not making your product any better, in my opinion. Look, that might be a hot take or whatever, but I haven't seen it in the last 2 years.
And these are our opinions, guys. We could agree to disagree. That's how we are, at least on Monaco the channel. If you don't agree with us, we could agree to disagree, and that's fine. We don't say that you're wrong and we're wrong.
And I don't hate Cody. Bro, everybody knows how much of a Cody Rhodes fan I am when he was in Ring of Honor and the Indies and when he was that badass Bullet Club Cody. I love that. That's just what I want him to be. it's just not the Cody Rhodes that I like, and that's fine. They don't have to cater towards me. I'm cool with that, but that, you know, I also don't have to like it either, and I don't. So I mean, but I will say about Cody before we, you know, kind of move on, because I know we kind of got off topic there a little bit talking about Cody. I think he's showing a little bit of that personality, which I'm starting to dig. That little badass.
I'm a Cody fan. All right.
That badass. Look, I loved Cody Rhodes before he got with the WWE again. But look, he's good. He's great. Like he's great. He's a great wrestler. WWE superstar, all that stuff. I give him the third biggest superstar in the company right now. I don't think that's bad to say.
Can I ask you this? What feud in Cody's world title reigns after winning the title has been epic? They like, oh my god, that feud with him was great.
Kevin Owens.
Okay. How many have Roman had? Exactly.
The whole.
He actually even in defeat. We always talk about you. forgot to mention Sami Zayn, who went to beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title after he lost. Oh no, actually the tag team titles, or for the longest reigning tag team champions of all time with Kevin Owens when they teamed up at WrestleMania Night 2. Mm-hmm. Also, Sami Zayn beat Gunther 666 days after taking on Roman. My point is, what has Cody done to Solo Sikoa's career after they wrestled? He's a joke with the MFTs. Cody didn't even make a match with AJ Styles. Cena had the match with AJ Styles. Everyone can't stop talking about that match. Or you know, it's not Cody dislike. Is that there is a level with Cody that he's not that type to elevate. It's about it's about his brand being number one, which is nothing wrong with that. Again, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, because he's the biggest star. Like
this company needs they need their tie to start help elevate others. That's what, and I bring it back to Roman Reigns' comment. I went away to see if they could elevate. They obviously not. So they need to bring. Let me ask this: did Big Bronson Reed get elevated after beating Roman Reigns and having a feud with Roman Reigns in Paris?
Yeah, because he's one of the big parts of the vision, and he was on Main Event before that. And how do I know that? Because I was there.
Can I ask this question? If Big Bronson Reed would have wrestled Cody Rhodes, would he have gotten this elevator, or you would think of Big Bronson Reed as a big fat joke? Be brutally honest.
No, because I would agree. Because look, I'm not mistaken. Was it when I'm a Priest guy. We all know that. When Priest and Cody had their match over money, it was one of the matches that they had. I think Priest fought for the title in like 2023 or whatever. Like right after Cody won or whatever, we didn't see him do anything until the WrestleMania. No, I'm getting my timelines mixed up. No, never mind, because he was world champion. Never mind. That was a bad example. But there was Carmelo Hayes. That was
Melo's another one.
Melo's the guy. That's the one that I wanted to think. Melo. I didn't mean Damian Priest. I meant Carmelo Hayes, because he was when Melo was the number one overall pick. Who did he fight in his first match on SmackDown? Cody, and lost.
Never got elevated again.
Not Damian. I meant Melo.
It's just, again, Cody Rhodes is very important to the WWE. I'm not going to take that away from him. But I'm trying to emphasize how important Roman Reigns is to the whole grand scheme of things to the WWE. Mm-hmm. Roman is very important. That man is needed because that helps elevate other talents when they need to elevate younger talents. Cody tried to give the rub to Jey Uso, teaming with him, winning the tag team titles, being friends, part of his allies. But where did that go? The fans hate Jey Uso. Yeah. But meanwhile, when he was on the Roman Reigns, as that, you felt that sympathy of with many of it in Jey. You thought there was, granted their matches sucked because Roman versus Jey Uso at SummerSlam was terrible. That was terrible. That was a terrible match. I like the story going into it, but the match wasn't very good. The match was not good. They didn't deliver.
The match they had at Hell in a Cell during the COVID era was way better.
Yes,
before they became the whole bloodline, and Jimmy Uso was like in that steel cage. Like, yeah, That was better.
Because you felt that Jay was really wrestling out of hate towards Roman.
Yes.
At that time.
Yes.
And yeah, that's the word hate where we go back to that Punk and Roman, because you felt that in that promo. I'm challenging you because I hate you. Now let's go to SmackDown. We hear from Drew McIntyre starting off. Drew McIntyre comes out, gets interrupted by Cody, because we know Drew got eliminated Cody Rhodes at the Rumble, kind of keeping that feud alive. Where a lot of people say pass the torch. No, Cody needs to be in that world title picture. And again, this is not us saying, oh, you just dislike Cody. No, he is important to be in that title picture. I've said this time and time again. Cody Rhodes is phenomenal. And I use that word in the chase for the world title. He will get you invested to want him to go get that world title. But once he gets it, it's like, okay, what is next for him? What's next? How do we build,
him winning the world title feels like winning a Super Bowl.
Okay.
It's like, all right,
fair.
I got the trophy. Now what do I do? Until next season, which next season's WrestleMania. That's what it feels like. He wins the title around a SummerSlam or WrestleMania at a big event, which he has. He beat Cena at SummerSlam, beat Roman at WrestleMania. And what has he done after that? After those big matches? I mean, it feels like with him winning a Super Bowl. All right, I won the Super Bowl. Let's get ready for the next season. I'll just, I'll do some training camps, and my training camps are, the guys like Mello and, all these other guys on the mid cards, and then I'll go back when the season starts during December, January. That's what it feels like with him.
But I gotta also take Cody's side though. Creative hasn't built a heel to breathe on his neck that you're like, damn.
Besides Roman, I can agree.
And besides Brock Lesnar. Because let's face it, when Brock Lesnar came and F5'd the shit out of Cody, you were like, holy shit. And that was
The Rock did that thing with him backstage too. You were like, that's a final heat. Like, you never seen Cody get beat up like that before.
No, and Cody needed that because it made us feel more sympathy over him. Uh-huh. He just lost to Roman, and then he's getting F5. I'm like, holy shit. What the Brock turned on him. And that's what Cody's missing. Cody's missing the yin to the yang, and I don't think they found it in the maybe Drew McIntyre is the guy, but then you got people online. I don't want to see this Drew McIntyre Cody Rhodes feud more again. Oh my god! But if you're not allowing them to tell the proper story, because knocking him out of the Rumble was great, they kept it alive. We got him last night on Raw. On SmackDown, when he comes out, Drew to say that neither one is neither one has won the Rumble, and Cody comes out and blisses him and beats him up, and that gets a hot start for SmackDown. Then later on, we get Jacob Fatu interrupt Drew McIntyre as well, and that keeps hot feud because it adds another element to their feud. And then we get Drew McIntyre's promo on SmackDown. I thought that Drew McIntyre, and I was one many years ago, did not like Drew. I used to call him Melatonin Drew, thought he was lackluster, boring. Yeah. He is not one bit. His feud with Punk, because he's going to the realism. He's going to things that he's going to stuff that you're like, damn, it's kind of true. Or, he's been saying it on social media, blurring those lines. Your thoughts on Drew McIntyre last night on SmackDown?
Oh, I think he has gotten so much better since he's really gotten with Punk. I mean, that really, like you mentioned, that elevated him. And we talked about that yesterday during our watch-along, our long 3-hour watch-along. Look, I'm still hoping that Drew McIntyre walks into the Elimination Chamber. I know, like, I'm not. I'll bring that up after I talk about this. I don't want to get too off topic because I will go on a rant.
No, go for it.
Okay. So actually, this has to do with Drew McIntyre, but the promo was good. I thought all of his promos he did were good. Him coming out there, starting off, and him later on the show, kind of defending himself and the SmackDown brand and all that. He did a good job of his promos throughout the night. This is what I can't stand, and this is what worries me. Why the hell? Who's booking SmackDown? I mean, I'm not just saying this. Look, Kev knows how SmackDown's my least favorite show of the week. I can't stand it, even when it's 2 hours, because the booking doesn't make sense. Why in the hell are you having a triple threat qualifying match for the Chamber involving Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, and Sami Zayn? I don't understand that. Unless, because my thing is this. Okay, if you have Jacob Fatu go to win the Chamber, win that qualifying match, which I think will happen, couple problems. One, I don't see him pinning nor Sami or Cody. Two, I don't see if Cody Rhodes wins this match, who says he won't somehow, some way get a championship match with you at the Chamber? And some way, somehow he still walks into WrestleMania world champion. Three, why wouldn't you have Sami in the Chamber match? I don't like the guy. We don't like the guy, but he's a big part of winning or going after the title. He had a match with fucking Drew McIntyre at the Rumble. And you're putting 3 of these guys in a qualifying match for the Chamber when all 3 of these guys should be in the match? That's what I don't understand. That's the one thing out of SmackDown yesterday I did not understand. Why they're making that match.
Remember, you only get three from SmackDown and 3 from Raw to be in the Chamber. Just remember that.
Okay, so you have who? So you have Randy. You're gonna tell Jacob and Cody.
He's deserving. No, they're all deserving. I'm not debating you.
You're doing 3 from SmackDown. Those 3 should be from SmackDown. I just don't know.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you because they're gonna probably put in a Trick Williams.
I can see that. I won't hate that.
And one more. Maybe Cody. We got the winner of this match there. You got Randy Orton, maybe a Trick Williams, and those are your 3 heading a younger type of talent there, or even
I don't mind Trick because of his interactions with Drew. That doesn't make sense because otherwise I would say why now, why right? But those interactions with Drew and Randy when he came out there, beautiful. That makes sense, but. I don't know. I still think you could have had Cody in a match with Drew. I mean, have a championship match at the Chamber. They did it with Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn right before Roman Reigns went to go fight Cody Rhodes at night 1 or at 39. Why can't they do this here? And give us something to maybe look forward to, or could Drew actually beat Cody to walk in, like something, or like I don't know. To me, you should have Jacob, Randy, and Sami in the Chamber. Those 3 should be in the Chamber. To me, just Fatu, Cody, and Sami. Because to me, it's like if Fatu is going to win the Chamber, I see them just adding a triple threat. I see them adding Cody. You're going to tell me Cody Rhodes isn't going to be at WrestleMania fighting for the undisputed title? Come on now. Like, they're going to add him in anyway. So why have him lose in a qualifying match? And if he wins it, why not have Jacob win it, the match, and actually have him in it? There's just certain things I don't understand because you don't need Cody to be in this match anyway. You don't have to have him win it.
I hear you. I'm gonna let it right now. I'm a little.
I want to see how it. Obviously, I want to see how it plays out.
How we get there? Because
so
are we going to go around the block to go across the street? That's the way I want to see what creative does. Are we going to circle and go a mile to go across the street? That's all I want to see how creative is going to get us there right now. Because right now, things are not. Just like you said, it's not making sense right now. We know that this WrestleMania, they're going to want to put the top notch, big of the biggest, because they're charging a shitload of money and they're getting a redo in Vegas. Last year's WrestleMania left a bad taste. Last year, and I think that no one's going to care about WrestleMania next year, especially, I'm starting to, when I said it yesterday on our watch along, I think I'm going to book a cruise for WrestleMania weekend and just go away, because
I also might go on vacation during WrestleMania weekend next year.
I might, because it's in Saudi, just to I
don't want to cover WrestleMania next year. I mean, not that I don't. It's not
the
that
crowd is not enthusiasm. It's not enthusiasm. It's driving me.
I'm going to sit here for 2 nights and cover it the next Sunday or the next Monday, whatever. And it's just like they're going to cater to the fucking Saudis. It's not going to be a show where I don't know. I'm not saying they're catering to us, but it's like they do in a sense. They're going to give Because think about it. That prince is going to give, hey, I'm going to give you this. We want this. We want this person to win. I want this person to go over. Sami Zayn's winning the world title next year. That alone makes me not want to watch WrestleMania.
Well, the turkey a la Sheik wants it. Turkey's going to get it.
That fucking... Oh, dude, I'm surprised we didn't see that guy in the Rumble.
The fat one? The comedian?
The Saudi guy. Yeah, that Michael Cole was like, who the fuck?
He'll be next year. He'll be winning. He'll be beating Gunther next year. You're telling me that new Saudi Arabian wrestler?
He's winning the chamber next year.
He's winning the chamber.
He's going to be King in the Ring. He's winning King in the Ring this year, and then next year.
Crown Jewel, too. The Crown Jewel, everything. You know that.
Oh, yeah, Crown Jewel, that fucking stupid Crown Jewel championship. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's going to be the actual wrestler that actually is going to walk around with the Crown Jewel championship.
They might make that championship into an actual title just for him to keep it.
For him to run around with it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you could tell that. You could tell that's in the works. Come on, that's in the works. But no, let's stay on topic with SmackDown. Look, SmackDown last night. I'm gonna be honest with you. We did the 3-hour watch along. This has been the worst of 2026. Not the most enthusiastic, uninspiring. It felt long. It felt like, where are we going? None of the storylines really progress. It was just stuck in neutral. Doesn't mean that the wrestlers that were out there entertained Charlotte. It just felt weird. I did enjoy a couple spots. The face-to-face with Julia and Io Sky. I need more of that. But
you were the only one that cared about that.
But the only thing I cared about, I wish creative would make it feel special and build. We didn't get the oohs and ahs of the crowd to really savor and really sink our teeth into those two Joshi ladies go in face-to-face in the middle of the ring. I wish we missed that spot. That's already out of the bottle. Also, Shinsuke and Nakamura versus Tama Tonga as well should have been a big deal. If you're a diehard wrestling fan, and they didn't make it feel it either. They got it and was like, it's like, okay, you could have had that on Saturday on main event on Thursday nights, and it would have felt that, the same reaction. That's on the WWE creative to make, and they didn't make it feel that more important. They teased it in the back a little bit, but they didn't. I don't felt like they went over the top. This is where Michael Cole was really needed, and there's no knock on Tessitore, and there's no knock on the commentary team. This is where Michael Cole elevates the importance of those 4 athletes getting in the middle ring face to face. This is where the professional wrestler broadcaster is more important than the sportscaster. And it's not a knock on Tessitore, but we lost out on getting that essence, Chris. That's my opinion, and that's why I felt.
No, I agree. I don't think they, if they would have maybe told us on commentary a little bit about their history, that's a good thing. I always talk about, I talked about that with the Royce Keys debut, right? You always want to talk a little, if you can, right? Maybe they, they're not, you don't have to say these guys wrestled in the Tokyo Dome and New Japan stuff. No, these guys had a good rivalry back in Japan, and now they're reliving it here in WWE, whatever. That's all you had to say. And then people are going to be like, oh, they had a match in Japan. Oh, New Japan. Oh, they did? If you're not, which, if you don't know that stuff, go watch it. It was, I wasn't a big Shinsuke guy in New Japan, but I know a lot of people like their feud. And so I would recommend go watching it because it's still good wrestling. But yeah, they could have done that, but no, I agree. SmackDown, some nights the 3 hours don't feel bad, and some nights it just feels terrible. Like,
here's my thing that I get.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say I didn't mean terrible. I meant underwhelming.
But to me, what's terrible and got me pissed off was in that tag team match. We get Raquel and Liv, who it looks like they're going to be at odds with each other.
I know where you're going with this.
They look like they're going to be at odds, and they're not going to get along. But I said, Chris, man, I would love in the chamber, or even tonight, Jade Cargill versus Raquel Rodriguez. Holy shit, that will be fucking awesome. Because they're complaining that she never wrestles. She never gets an opportunity to defend her title. That would be phenomenal. That'd be great. Here comes Jade. Oh man, Jade is gonna get in the face. I think we're seeing it, Chris. Oh baby, we're gonna get Raquel versus Jade. I know Jade is going to defend her title and beat Raquel. I don't care. I want to see the aesthetics between these two ladies. I'm like, holy shit, we got two mountain of a women right there. We got two brick house on a Friday night. Out comes Jordynne Grace. No disrespect. I love Jordynne Grace. I always advocated for her to be in the WWE. I think she was great. First and foremost, she comes out with that Pinhead introduction music. Jesus Christ. I'm going to do a video maybe tomorrow because I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl about the importance of music in professional wrestling because it's driving me bananas already. I hear that terrible music, and then Jordynne Grace steps up, gets in the middle with all four ladies. Okay, well, you can see there's going to be a tag team maybe next week. Boy, I said, damn, Jordynne is shorter than Liv. And Liv is sneakily tall. She may look tiny, but she's not that tiny. She's a pretty tall woman for... So then I go, man, Jordynne's short. We have the match. You guys bought your gear. You're going to wrestle now. We're going to have a match. We have Jordynne Grace doing all the workhorse parts. Oh, man, when are we going to get this hot tag to see Jade comes? Guys, we got to go to commercial break. We'll see you later. Throughout the fucking 3.5-minute commercial break, because we stay on the international feed, they tag Jade in. Jade does all her 7 moves of doom.
On Raquel,
by the way, that we've been wanting to see these two beautiful, big Amazonian women in the WWE get there and face off. But if you're on the USA Network, you saw Ugats. You didn't see them. You didn't even see them tickle each other. You didn't see it. We saw it. We're like, why did they not save this for the USA Network, for the American audience to see this? And then you'd see the referees. You got 90 seconds. You got 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Could we stop that with the referees? That's a pet peeve. We see you when you're calling the whole freaking match. 1 minute left. Oh, that means stay with the sweeper hold, and then because you see them touching their side here, and then when they come back from commercial break, Jade is out of the ring, tagged out, and no one saw that. Chris, go for it.
You want to know the worst part? When they came to commercial break, Jade went in the match and they teased it, and they had the pin happen, and Raquel and Jade never touched each other on TV after the commercial break. They teased it, and me and Kev, because you guys gotta think, because when we're watching the wrestling, like at least for me on the Rumble, the chat is where the timer is when they're on commercial break. So the chat was in my way. So when they did the face to face, and I was like, bro, they're literally in a commercial. Because I missed to where they're like, well, when we return, like I missed that part. So I saw it by the timer. So yeah, I mean that was bad. That was bad production. That wasn't even bad production, like cameras and all that. That was bad match producing. You shouldn't have had those ladies touch at all. And if you were gonna have to do that spot, you should have done that spot on TV. Because I can understand, right? You want to save the Raquel and Liv on TV, but by the time those two ladies did get in the ring while they went back on TV, the crowd didn't give a fuck because they saw it 3 minutes before.
Exactly.
And so did we, and so did everybody else that watches it the way we do. So you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything by doing that. These people need to understand. These producers need to understand that people still watch this shit when they're on the commercials. Like, they have an international audience that does not get commercials, and they know that. What are they trying to say? The international audience is dumb? Like, you can literally see them. Like, it's like when you're in the arena and they're in a commercial, like the behind the scenes, like that's what it is. And you don't want, like, it shouldn't be that way because they're technically still on the air. I understand they're doing it for USA Network, but they have a audience that watches it. You can't get that on the USA Network in fucking UK. You have to watch it on Netflix. Like, they don't understand that. Like, it's clear as day. Like you mentioned, the referee, we got 10 minutes. But when you're sitting there in the UK, and you don't get commercials, so you might don't get the timer. It's like, why are they like, if that's, yeah, I agree. But Jordynne Grace is boring as fuck on this main roster.
I feel so bad for her. She's lost in the sauce. She feels lost in
they
the
didn't
sauce.
give her an NXT run and they didn't make her mean anything. They pushed her like if they were going to make Jordynne Grace go up to the main roster and say, "Hey Jordynne, sink or swim," you should have done that fresh out of her TNA run, not send her to NXT, cool her down, and then send her back up. That's stupid, in my opinion.
You're right. You're right with that, and I feel bad for Jordynne Grace. She's already coming into the WWE with a little bit of a chip on her shoulder because of what happened before. You know her past where she was an extra, didn't get filmed in the shot because her appearance and yada yada. So she has a little bit of a self-esteem or a chip on her shoulder in the WWE. She goes to NXT. She comes out on the Rumble and she hears the roar of the crowd going exactly bananas when she came out in Tampa, for that Royal Rumble and the year before, and then collaborating with TNA and NXT. People were excited for her. When she finally said, I'm going to make the jump, people like and hear me, she comes to NXT. NXT dropped the ball immensely. They didn't do nothing. We never got Zarya on her, which they teased before she jumped to the company, which I think that could have been helped. Both ladies would have went, and that should be this year's stand and delivered match. I still screaming to the heavens on that should be Jordynne Grace versus Zarya and stand and deliver in Vegas at the Spear, wherever the hell they're going to have it, at the Palms, where Bully Ray's sausage party is going to be in the rooftop. I don't know. I mean, that should be your main event. Those two women, for the NXT World Title. I don't know what the hell they're thinking in NXT. And Jordynne Grace feels lost. Jade Cargill already gets the negative heat for not wrestling and not inspiring folks. Then you got Liv and Raquel, Raw ladies, trying to get in here to try to tell their story. And then then you don't even get the crowd to see Jade and Raquel tease that. Give us something like, oh damn, there's another obstacle in the building in the company that could be because I think Raquel was referenced by Liv. You could go after Jade's title and I could take the other title and we both have world titles. I was like, this is why I said, damn, this is cool because I could see Raquel going after Jade, not being successful, and then she kind of gets jealous of Liv, and you could play that off, the night after WrestleMania, whatever. But no, they don't know what they're thinking. This is the one thing I don't know what's going on, because here's the thing with on the Triple H Paul Levesque, theme music sucks. The entrances, the ad commercial placements are atrocious. They don't let you get into the matches involved. Now this is why after Kevin, and everyone complained about Kevin Dunn. I'm not trying to be a Kevin Dunn apologist or a lawyer for him, but these shits didn't happen on the Kevin Dunn. All these stupid and maybe because we have now 4K cameras, high definition, everything is so up and close and trying to get you feel like you're at ringside at home. But the referees telling the instructions for the referees is killing me, Chris. This is where Unreal. hurts the wrestling product, bro.
It's just
it hurts me as a wrestling viewer what I'm watching now. I'm not enjoying it because I know when the referee, we got 30 seconds, we're still in a commercial break. I'm like, every time there's a move, the referee's sliding in there. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yo, let it fucking breathe, man. They just got fucking power slam. I understand the wrestlers safety. I get it. But let it fucking breathe a little bit. No, he's sliding in there to check on them. Let it breathe. Let it breathe. That's my pet peeve, Chris. I had to get on that rant and pissed off on that. That pisses me off when I'm watching wrestling. And it happens in all the companies. I gotta squeeze your hand. Are you okay?
Yeah. No, I look, I can't stand it. It's the Unreal. And it's not even just like the referees and all the fucking medics and all that shit. It's when something happens, I don't know if they're doing it to make their product more interesting or to make their fucking Unreal TV show more interesting. That's the thing that, like, look, we did a whole review on Unreal. I'm not gonna shit talk Unreal because I chose to watch it. You make a choice. I chose to watch it and I chose to cover it. I'm not gonna, so that's on me. That's on us. We chose to watch it. We chose to cover it. But at the same time, first off, there are certain things, and I don't want to get into an Unreal fiasco, but my thing is, Kev, there are certain things of Unreal that I actually enjoyed. That should be what Unreal is. For example, when we saw Penta training the kids, that's cool. We don't see that side of Penta often. The side of Chelsea Green buying the house, like, we don't see that. Like, maybe a conversation at ringside, but it's when they show us in the beginning, this is what the referees do. This is what gorilla position is. This is how we communicate. That's the fucking worst part of the show. I don't like that aspect of the show. Again, if you want to give us some behind the scenes on, like, The Rock and Triple H talking, cool. After everything's already played out, fine. If you want to talk about storylines, is basically what I'm trying to put it at. Don't tell us how the product, does that make sense? Like, tell us about how Rollins faked his injury. Cool. Don't fucking tell me you told Jessica Carr on her ear to not go there, wishing that, hey, I told Pat McAfee on his ear to keep selling. That's the shit I don't like about him.
Keep the chokehold on him.
That certain things, because you could see the ref keep the chokehold on, and he's not saying get off of him. He's like, keep it on. Like, I agree.
Don't like it, and you can see that with these 4K cameras. It's just too much. It's like, oh, come on, man. I come to watch this product to escape, not to dissect every little thing on it. It feels like it. It's because it's like, oh, I want to escape. I want to get entertained with this soap opera. I want to get into that fantasy world, like they like to say, the land of make believe in professional wrestling. But when you're telling me, how the land of make believe is done, it's a really make believe anymore. Like, can I get into? No, because now this is how they do it. Look, we all knew that. Many times when it sound like my dad, like, oh, you like that fake shit, that wrestling. No, it's because I'm entertained. Yeah. It's like, but let me get entertained. But when now they're telling me about that, it's like them telling me, oh, this is fake. Look, come here. This is how it's done. That means, I feel bad for David Copperfield or all the Houdinis. If you imagine Houdini on Unreal telling you, hey, this is how the trick is. I really don't do it this way. I do it, it's not the way, it sucks. I understand you got to do something for Netflix, but I like the story with, like you said, in a little bit of Unreal. We covered Unreal, not to get off the Wrestling Week topic. Chelsea, people, and we speak. Let's talk about Chelsea here, because I thought they continue to do a major disservice not pushing Chelsea Green.
On that triple threat match, yeah.
Terrible. You hear the crowd is invested behind the young lady. She's a Raquel. Is she really a comedy act? Because last time I saw, Chelsea was wrestling the likes of Penta, and she was part of Lucha Underground and wrestled and go watch look at her TNA run. Go to the Queen of the Mountain ring, that spot where her Deonna Purrazzo was that comedy? Was that funny when she took that dive off that ladder off the top there into those two tables where her and Deonna Purrazzo, they could have cracked their neck? I didn't see any comedy act with that, Chris. The girl could go. Why are we wasting her time with this comedy gimmick where people don't care about her? She should have been the one. First of all, won the Rumble and go up against Jade, and Jade bullied the shit out of her and make people get invested behind Chelsea. Can she beat it? Can she do it? Can she overcome the obstacle? Jade Cargill win the chamber? But no, yes, but I mean, check out her run in NWA. Chelsea,
her run in NWA was good too. Yeah.
What are we doing with her here? Like, what are we wasting her time, her youth, her talent? So when they want to push her, is it going to be wrong that she wants to start a family because with Cardona? I mean, what are we waiting for? Why are we prolonging? And I'm not trying. And I'm one of those who like the slow burn, long-term storytelling. But let's face it, the girl's over right now. What are we waiting for? Before she has a month left and she's rumors to go to Jacksonville, and now you want to push her? Because it seems like that's the trend in WWE. Contract is coming up. Let's give him a push so he can resign, so they don't go to Jacksonville.
I mean, they look at her husband. What the fuck is this guy doing?
He made a friend. He's got a catering friend in Apollo. Now he's got, someone to sit at catering with.
Yeah, so he's now the catering god.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing with these two?
He's always ready.
Yeah, always ready to fucking eat. Look, with Chelsea Green, I told this to Krishan. It's just gonna be hard for me to, and I understood what he was coming from too. But I'm going to watch her now thinking of Michael Hayes' comment. That's what it is. I told you before that match started, she's going to take the pin.
Yeah, you did.
Because of Michael Hayes. I can't get it out of my head. I have no confidence. And that's exactly what happened. They couldn't even get the first seat. Dude, they humiliated her not once but twice on Unreal. I don't think people are understanding that. Are we forgetting that they literally aired her bawling her eyes out because she didn't get a match at War Games in Vancouver? Twice.
They keep embarrassing the girl.
Twice that they embarrassed her on Unreal. And now they're embarrassing her on the product. And it's true. No, it's translating. I knew it was going to happen as soon as I saw Michael Hayes' comment. As soon as I watched that, I put that on my notes. I was like, I'm never going to see Chelsea Green the same because of
Michael. What I didn't notice, Chris? I don't know if I noticed. Can anyone in the chat? Because we were, again, when we do the watch alongs, we're also conversating with the chat, making sure the streams are running.
We're all over the fucking place.
Did she come out with her mixed tag title?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think she did, but don't quote me.
I don't think so. No, because she was giving out flyers. She did not come out with her mixed title either.
Okay, yeah.
But we at least have her come out with her mixed title if she's still.
That's weird because when she's on NXT, she shows it.
At least she looks like, people don't know, she's got a title. She must be important. Not even that anymore. Not even that. She should have. Tiffany Stratton went away, lost the title, and I said it yesterday. This triple threat, Chelsea should somehow win, get her in the chamber. Tiffany still has her rematch clause. You could do Jade if they weren't going to do Raquel and Jade. You could have done Tiffany Stratton and Jade at the chamber, because I think people would have tolerated more in the chamber than WrestleMania. If you're telling me Jade Cargill's taking on Tiffany Stratton at the chamber, I don't think everyone's going to get too much excited. I mean, at WrestleMania, they're not going to get excited. A rematch, I don't think they're going to get excited. They could have done it in the chamber, eliminated that, and gotten a fresh new opponent at the chamber. Listen, I don't think Bianca Belair is coming back yet. I don't think she's healthy. I don't see her this WrestleMania, Chris. I don't see Bianca back.
I agree.
I don't see Bianca back.
I agree. I think we're going that's why I don't. I mean, that's why I don't see why Chelsea couldn't win the women's chamber. But when she's in the match with Tiffany Stratton, there's just no way. They fucked her over with the qualifying match to begin with. I don't know. I don't know. It's unfortunate. I can't think of Chelsea Green any different because of Michael Hayes.
That okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bigger pop right now, Chelsea or Tiffy when they come out, because I don't hear a lot of people say it's Tiffy time. And it could be Charlotte. It could have been just Charlotte.
That's a tough one. Because I do think Tiffany's over. Very over.
I'm not saying she's not.
But Chelsea, I think it's because they're both over. And Tiffany, she's been world champion and she's a hot young blonde. I think they're just going with her. I don't know. I don't think people understand. As much as Chelsea has done stuff other places, she's never gotten her big moment, her time to shine. I don't know why they won't give it to her. I don't know. It's unfortunate because remember yesterday we told she's never been in WrestleMania. Well, I remember now she took the pin at WrestleMania 39 with Shayna and Ronda when she was teaming up with Sonya.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That was her WrestleMania moment, getting pinned by fucking Ronda Rousey.
And where is she? Where is she?
I think it was on the fucking pre-show.
It was a pre-show match, probably. I think Chelsea deserves way better. I think WWE really deserves to push this young lady. Wouldn't blame her if she goes out and she wants to have a family. What's the point? They making.
No, and if they're both working in the same they're both contracted to the same company now, so they both had that guaranteed money maybe, and Cardona got that, his undership. Do it. They're building a whole fucking new house. Might as well.
Yeah, we'll see. I didn't like that out of SmackDown, coming out of SmackDown for Chelsea. I hope, and I don't trust any of the creative situation. One thing everyone continues to talk about the creative. I want to talk about the producers, the psychology. There's a lot of stuff that is not making sense. As much as everyone disliked the old man, and they hated the old man when they meet Vince, he had but again, Triple H have a disservice. Triple H doesn't have a Pat Patterson by his side. Triple H don't. He thought he could try to get his buddy with the Road Dogg, keeping Pritchard from the old regime. But let's face it, Pritchard really has lost a little bit of his touch. Even Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes really did a lot of great producing when it came to the Bloodline storyline. But that's alongside with Paul Heyman influence. So I don't know how much credit we're going to give Hayes as a producer with Paul Heyman's influence. So there's something going on when it comes to the top producers in WWE. They're not hitting it for us. Something's not making sense. And then you have all these other, like Jamie Noble, TJ, Ari Daivari, Kenny Dykstra, the other guy, so forth, like that. Those guys were all, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes they make the best coaches and the best producers, guys that never made it to the top. They always kind of struggle to be on the top. But they only know a level of booking and getting people over is mid-card. They don't know how to get to that to help people elevate to that main event level. They're missing those type of producers to help this talent get over. The older guard, like Roman, Brock, Punk, they got producers from back then. They were under that Pat Patterson producer learning tree from the past, Rhodes. These new ones, that's maybe why these new superstars are not getting elevated to that main or taking that next ascendance, because they don't have producers to help them get to that next level of ascension, because them as producers themselves never made it to that pinnacle level. Bobby Roode, let's face it, Bobby Roode was great in TNA, but he never became that guy to go as transcend to be a top. And I don't know, and it's reflecting on the talent that they're producing underneath them. That's just my take right now, and that's stifling the WWE product. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what's the product fixing. Maybe Triple H needs a little more hands-on. Maybe he has to micromanage maybe a little more, because that's the negative that Vince had. But listen, I'm the Vince McMahon. I'm not saying Vince is better. I'm not saying that. On the Vince McMahon, we had great introduction music. We didn't have the complaints about all these commercial or all these showing the secrets. We were intrigued with the magic trick. Now we're dissecting it to even the lighting in the building. I don't know, Chris. Talk to me.
No, I don't really know what else to add on that. I think you're right. I mean, Unreal's exposing it. We're seeing it in real time. And I don't think it's going to change, unfortunately.
The one thing that I give these new producers a lot of credit, I'll give a lot of these new producers a lot of credit, and they've done a great job, is the way they're producing the women. Oh, I'm talking about as a woman division in whole, not just particular one-man women, some other women, the women division in whole.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got to give them.
They're having the better matches when it comes to like rumbles and shit. So
rumbles, evolution, the war. Yeah, they're just so much. The women get it. They find it. They go and they attack because it's something. Because it could be something different. Boy, I wish someone had that kind of mindset of Pat Patterson, which are next alongside Triple H right now. He really could use a Pat Patterson type of ideas and psychology in his booking, because let's face it, Pritchard is not becoming that next level guy. I don't know how much of an input Heyman has, but also let's face it, ECW wasn't something that ran over 10 years. It was small. Paul Heyman is great, but it kind of got a little, okay, go out there and fuck shit up and do things. After years of you can only have a guy come out with a beer and smash it over his fucking forehead for so long and smoke a cigarette with a Singapore cane. You can't have that so much now in the modern day wrestling. Everybody dissecting. You can't have a fat guy, a fat white guy who stutters, team up with a African American guy and go and be the best and consider themselves, they have brothers all over the world. It doesn't work for so long, Chris. I don't know. I am puzzled. Right now they need something. They need something. I don't know what it is. These writers aren't doing crap. They're not helping either to progress any stories. It feels so disconnected. These writers feel so disconnected to the wrestling fan to get you in. It just feels so disconnected. I feel like I don't know what I'm watching when it comes to WWE and all the wrestling.
I hear you. These this has been a problem for a little bit now. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't think they're going to get rid of anybody. So I think we're stuck with this.
The talent, they'll get rid of the talents immediately. But when are we going to start holding the people that make these decisions, the creative, accountable for what they're putting out there? Because all they're doing, all of these talents are the ones that executed. They're soldiers. They're being told by their generals, their commanders, their admirals to go out there and execute so and so game plan. But meanwhile, but they'll get mad with it. They'll bury an LA Knight for not remembering to go up on a ladder for a shot, a moment. That's my issue. That's my problem I have there, Chris. And I don't know. I don't know if WWE is going to get any better. Their ticket prices continue to get better for the rich people. It's just bad. It's all It's all the writers' fault. And does TKO say a lot of what performers get more focus over others? I think yes, Steve. I think that statement is correct. What performers get over, because we go back to the ticket pricing. When you're charging the amount of money to go sit in their events, their venues, the WWE experience, 2-night events, because now they want to make Royal Rumble 2 nights also. That's the rumors. They want you to buy these tickets. They want you to get these meet and greets, the fan experience. It's a lot of money. Also, the different streaming platforms. You need to pay $30 on ESPN to watch their 6-card PLEs. Saturday night's main event, you need to keep the cock. You need to keep Peacock around because you need a Saturday night's main event and the NXT pay-per-views. You need this one here. You need traditional cable for the USA Network. Netflix to watch Monday Night Raw. It's a lot of money that's being shelled out by the consumer. And you're definitely going to give us, you got to give us something to want to watch right now. You need to, you need Punk and Roman. If you're telling me they were going to put Trick Williams versus CM Punk, I don't think people will go crazy right now. No disrespect, because Trick hasn't been elevated yet. You have to put these big superstars back, and people get mad. Oh, Brock, you need Brock and Gunther because you're charging for the amount of money you're charging at these PLEs. You need it.
I agree 100%.
That's the only thing negative about it, man. And look, it's starting to feel the effect in NXT. It's dropping down to where we're now feeling in NXT. Let's talk about some NXT here as we switch break. But, Chris, let's take a quick water break. Quick 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. We want to hear from our sponsor. We hear from our sponsor, Blackout Coffee. Will give us a minute to drink, and we're going to talk about some NXT.
Sports Jedi Nation, you already know how I move. I don't start my day without two things. Standing firm in what I believe in a cup of coffee that actually represents those values. That's why I rock with Blackout Coffee. It's a 100% American company, unapologetic, patriotic, pro-Second Amendment, and anti-woke nonsense, no corporate posturing, no virtual signing, just real coffee for people who still believe in God, family, and freedoms. Every bag is a roast right here in my beautiful state of Florida, and it's shipped straight to your door. Fresh, bold, no compromises. If you need to hit the ground running, the Morning Reaper I suggest, a medium roast that goes smooth, powerful, and kicks like a mule. Support a company that actually gives a damn about this country. Go to Blackout Coffee Rumba. Use my promo code Rumba for 20% off or Sports Jedi 20 of your first order. Blackout Coffee. Wake up, stand up, never back down. Fuel your freedom. Real coffee with real values. A bold, backed by freedom. Wake up and think free. And may the sports be with you.
Thank you, Blackout Coffee. Appreciate you sponsoring the show this here. Don't forget to use our promo code SportsJedi20 and save. Or you could put Rumble go to www.blackoutcoffee.com/rumble. You save 20% on your first order, and then you could use my referral code, or after that, Sports Jedi 20, and save even more. So go for a company that's pro-American, pro-Second Amendment, Blackout Coffee. American made, American distribute. So let's go. Let's go right to some NXT. They crowned a new men's world champion. This was a show of, it was not a bad NXT. Lately it's been really dragging, or even their creative is taking a little hit with some of the talents that they've been losing and bringing in or not getting invested. You're starting to see that with the ladder match. Your former TNA World Champion, Joe Henry, climbs the ladder and becomes your NXT World Champion. Him and Ricky Saints battled it out at the end. I thought Keanu Carver looked like a monster when they piled up the ladders on him to stop him from becoming a force. I thought Jackson Drake did a nice job there in the Rumble. Was very impressive in the match, so forth. But the right guy won the NXT title, Chris. I think Joe Henry.
I agree, man, because
is the guy.
I might be the only one that thinks NXT is boring as hell. Like, I have no interest in NXT. Ever since Trick and all those guys left, dude, I have no interest in NXT. They don't, and they stopped putting a lot of I know they have the knockouts. I don't give a shit about the Elegance brand and the knockouts. They don't have nobody like Santana. Like, we've seen him in NXT, but nobody really going there from the TNA. So it doesn't make it interesting to me, especially with all those guys out. So Joe Hendry being your world champion was a must. I probably would have not given NXT another chance if Joe Hendry didn't win that match. I'm going to be honest. Because I'm tired of seeing Ricky Saints as the world champion. I think Ethan Page should be the fucking world champion, but he's stuck in the North American title scene. Those are reversed you should flip those in my opinion. No, we already know how we feel about Shiloh. I'm not going to get into him. Keanu Carver's green. They need to give it on Joe Hendry. That was the bet. That was now that they did that, I actually might, I'm going to give NXT, a chance to actually get invested. I still watch it, but I'm just not invested into it. So maybe I could get a little more invested with Joe Hendry. But my problem is, who is he going to go against? Ricky Saints.
Well, that's one of your first feuds. I wouldn't mind Ricky Saints and Joe Henry one-on-one. I don't believe we got that. I don't think we haven't gotten it yet. That's a fresh up matchup for Joe Henry. It's a fresh matchup. It hasn't happened. So that's a good one there.
Now, for his first matchup?
Because do you really want Ricky Saints to
Who else is there for Joe Hendry to go against in the main roster? Ricky Saints is the only one. I
got you. But Ricky Saints looks like he's heading to the Raw or the SmackDown brand.
No.
He looked like he's getting elevated.
No,
after standing deliver, I could see that.
I can't. What the hell is he? He's not. What's he gonna do there?
That's just the way.
It's a mistake that they're. Look at Jordan Grace, bro. No. Come on, we don't need Ricky Saints in the main roster this year. I hope WWE doesn't do that. He won't. He's not gonna fit. He's gonna get lost. He's not even really. I mean, he's starting now, in my opinion, to really get there in NXT because Trick and all them are gone. Ethan Page should be moved up before him.
I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you. Yes, instead of Javon Evans, I totally agree with him. I agree. We totally agree with you. Javon Evans should have had an NXT title run.
Yes. He should be fighting Joe Hendry and Ricky Saints. That would be interesting. I would actually like that. If you give Ricky Saints to Joe Hendry now and you would have had Javon down the line, I would agree with you.
But I don't know what contract or what deal they have when they come to the two from All Elite Wrestling to sign in NXT. I'm going to be X amount of time and I need to be on the roster. That might be a contractual.
I hope not.
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know.
You could be 100% right. You could be 100. That's why I'm saying I hope that's not the case because, in my opinion, whatever the fuck contract you had in AEW was what you had in AEW. This is NXT. This is WWE. You're in a new company. We're gonna do our contract.
Fair. You're right. Just hopefully that's looking forward to Ricky and Joe first matchup. Yeah, I am looking forward to that as well.
I'm looking forward to it as well, but that should be a stand and delivered match.
Yes. They've got time to build it because But here's one thing I'm afraid of. As of this Tuesday, when we found out about the ladder match for the world title, we found out that Roadblock will be at Madison Square Garden again, March 31st. I hope they don't give us that, because I'm gonna be honest with you, they were Madison Square Garden. The theater Madison Square Garden looks great, but those two shows there have fallen flat. Because you giving away some good nuggets of matches, and it didn't help. It hurts the story. The first time they did it with the Hardys taking on Axiom, if that should have been a PLE match, that fell flat because of the commercial breaks. They have to wrap it up. Ying Lee winning the title over Kalani Jordan, it felt like a total it didn't feel
taped.
It was it was taped and it
didn't. They did 2 nights of that shit and it was taped and it got spoiled.
Yeah. It didn't feel special.
What is the point of that? So they could have, because for the main... No, seriously. What is the point of the NXT going to Madison Square Garden Theater?
Money.
Is it...
At the end of the day.
I understand when you had the Hardys and all this, but who's... I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one when they go there, because to me, it's just like... Now, let me ask you a question. Is that the same? So last year they did it when WWE was in Madison Square Garden. They did it the Tuesday. Is it the same thing? Is Raw going to be in Madison? Is that the Madison? Is that the Raw?
Yeah, that's the one we're predicting Jericho shows up first.
That's why. They do the same thing when WWE comes to the Xfinity Mobile Arena here in Philly, and then they go to the ECW Arena. It's the same shit.
Yeah, they're in the same city. They take over a same city.
And then, like you said, though, they make that seem like they're stand and delivered. That's in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Dude, on paper, that card with the last year was a stand and delivered card.
Absolutely.
That's why stand and delivered
over Femi versus Moose. That was a freaking monster match.
And that's why I'm like...
And you gave it on a TV, on a regular TV.
It was on a random Tuesday night with 2 hours.
It didn't feel like, I don't know. And then you gave us Julia versus Stephanie Becker.
And I have problems with stand and deliver just because of the day and time it is, especially now in Vegas. But that's a whole topic for a different day. But my point is, that should have been a big PLE. If it's not stand and deliver, should have been a big PLE. I don't know what their other big PLE is. What would you say the biggest second one? Halloween Havoc?
Iron Survivor Deadline.
Deadline. Okay, yeah.
I think Deadline passed it. Because before you could have said it would have been Heat Wave.
Okay.
Battleground feels important for the NXT. No Mercy. Those are the ones. And Halloween. But here's the thing: I can't say Halloween Havoc because sometimes it's a television special, sometimes it's a PLE. Sometimes they feel like a
the last 2 years
sometimes
they've
been
been PLEs. Hopefully this year it is again. Because when they came to Hershey, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, but sometimes they have made it. They have made it television specials as well.
I know they did the year before. That's why. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's why. Yeah. No.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing that worries me when it comes to that. But point, like you said, yeah, the chat is making great points. Do we see Royce Keys show up in NXT? Because here's the thing, I'm going to say that because when they did the video package about your NXT talents at the Rumble, and they I know they showed Jordan Grace, I know they showed Lash Legend, but they also showed Royce Keys. Oh, they kind of labeled him in the NXT. I think it will be a nice little introduction for Royce Keys to wrestle in NXT, formerly known as Powerhouse. Because let's say Ricky Saints take on Joe Hendry and they have that battle and so forth. I know you don't want to see Royce Keys and Ricky Saints together, but I kind of want that heel to stand by next to him to really make Joe Hendry's life a little bit of a hell.
I think you're right, but I wanted that for Trick Williams.
Okay.
I wanted Royce Keys
on SmackDown.
I wanted for what you're saying for Royce Keys to be for Ricky. I wanted that to be for Trick Williams on SmackDown. Yes,
but it still could happen.
It still could happen, but I like that. Look, I know I said that, but if I'm now realizing, if I'm sitting here telling you who the hell is besides Ricky Saints to challenge Joe Hendry, Royce Keys is another guy you could add. So I like that. I do. They can do their own version of it, whatever. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that.
And anything, Royce Keys, heel, babyface.
Oh, fucking heel. You're not having that big dude a babyface. Come on now. I know he's probably the nicest dude ever in real life.
The reason why I asked this, if he goes to NXT, I'm worried about the crowd wanting him to be a babyface. And you have Keanu Carter.
Oh my god, yeah, and they're gonna meet him. That's right.
That's my issue. That's my issue. Keanu Carter's out there being this fake tough guy.
I forgot about that.
That's my only issue. That my
so I could also see them booking Royce Keys like Oba.
I don't mind that either.
Because Oba was, he was a tweener, in my opinion, in NXT. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. That's fine. That's fair.
I wouldn't mind that one bit. One thing I do want to say about that, the NXT, we found out we have an interim general manager. Ava abruptly gave up. Ava abruptly did not renew her contract, exit the company, exit stage left. Whether she agreed with their principles or belief or not, that's for you guys to debate amongst yourselves. I know she posted something and she left. Robert Stone becomes the interim general manager of NXT, which was like, I'm a little confused. Good for him, but is he not going to do work with the Diamond Collective on the TNA with Tessa? They don't need it because they really don't. Be honest with you, I think
is this a way to get Tessa on NXT?
Let's hope that's a way of doing that as well. Like really, I wouldn't mind seeing that at all because they could use something spicy, controversial a little bit in NXT. The people want to talk for good, bad, or indifferent. Tessa will be one of those to show up. But the NXT crowd are really nasty when it came to Tessa. That's where the Tessa "We're Coming for You" started at Full Sail when TNA came last year around this time.
Yeah, you know what I say to always at the Performance Center? A couple people didn't like my post the other day. Stop dictating who gets over in NXT. We know after the, what's up? We know that. All right. You're hurting a lot of these people's character development in NXT.
They are. We're guilty of, Yeah, I've been saying that myself. Shayna
Baszler.
You made a great idea with Shayna Baszler.
But that's just my fantasy.
But I've given you a lot of credit on that, and I also added to why it could make sense too. Right, when we give you names, or at least us or in our channel, when we throw something out creative that might sound a little far-fetched, we like to at least try to show you the work, like in a math equation, why we think so, not because we saw it flying among us, like Tweety birds, and we grabbed it. We want to give you the full equation behind it. Shayna Baszler, like Chris said, talent see her, they're not really going to mess with her. She's a mean-looking woman who's a shoot fighter, where you're going to have that authority figure that you're going to respect. Babyface or heel. The collaboration with TNA, you're seeing that Daria Ray also is part of the creative or authority figure in TNA, where now you have Robert Stone, who is a little weasel, Santino Marella. You could do kind of a mixed tag match if you wanted, where it's TNA NXT, but Robert Stone is teaming up with Daria, or they're colliding or working together to do something treacherous. And you got Shayna Baszler and Santino working together here, and it could lead to a match, general manager match, whatever. And I know it's not about them because they're supposed to be just authority figures and GMs, but you could pay it off, which I kind of like when you said Shayna Baszler. Also, she's a legend in NXT, where her title run and her love for NXT goes back years. So that kind of makes sense. I've been saying just like, that's why I kept it there. That's a perfect role for AJ Styles to, come in as because Robert Stone is the interim. Let him take his time off with his family, vacation, regroup. Then he comes back as the new NXT general manager. Still has the ties with TNA because they collaborate on each other's television networks. They'll go on AMC, blah, blah, blah. General Manager AJ Styles is here tonight on one of the pay-per-views or PLEs for TNA. He gets slapped by a Kansarian. Then you could still have his final match in TNA under the WWE umbrella. They can have their cake eaten too. I think AJ Styles, general manager for NXT. I said it from the weeks ago. And it might sound far-fetched for some, might not agree with it. But this is a way if they want to keep AJ Styles part of the WWE company and keep him away from Jacksonville or New Japan. That's a way of doing it. And he can still have his cake eaten too and work for TNA. You know, NXT general manager AJ Styles is getting inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame. You heard how I said it. NXT's general manager under the WWE umbrella getting inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame. That's WWE putting his fingerprint and their footprint all over in another company. And let's face it, we know that sounds so WWE-like. So I just wanted to throw that out there, Chris.
You make a good point. Look, Robert Stone, look, I don't hate it. If he's the interim, we'll see what interim means, right? So, you know, that means he's probably not going to be there for long. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But no, I expected that. So I'm not going to go.
With Stone as the general manager?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a shocking. That's not shocking.
It's not right. I'm not going to say I saw it coming, but it's not shocking. Because what other kind of, you know, they've been good. It would have been funny if Ethan Page was like that. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it wasn't shocking. No.
And it wasn't going to be Regal because they felt like, oh, Regal might come back. I don't know if Regal wants. I don't see.
He's scouting and he's training in the PC, and I mean, I'm a black and gold guy, so obviously I do want Regal, but it's not going to happen.
I don't think Regal was going to happen. I like the Baszler because she has history to it. That's not that she wants to be part of the company. She hasn't done it. She hasn't appeared anywhere else. Natty would have been a nice one, but she's not going to hang it up anytime soon either. So I'm not going to, you know, I don't know if she has the charisma to be a general manager. Let's face it. If Ava did it for over 2 years and she had no charisma. Let's face it.
No, I agree. I agree 100%, but I'm surprised Daria didn't do that spot. Maybe she takes over as Robert Stone's in the next 6 months. Maybe Robert Stone's the intern.
She did appear on TNA on NXT television.
That's what I'm saying.
Which I was shocked.
So was I. So what if this is a way that she has stated publicly that she is only on a 6-month deal? What if
correct
for the next 6 months, Robert Stone's the intern GM in some way, somehow she takes his job as the full-time, because she killed it on SmackDown when she was the GM or whatever she had.
She was very good. Her and Pierce, they were very good.
You know who else you could do that's not thrown out? It's far-fetching, but it would make sense. Saraya.
Booker T mentioned that on his podcast. Saraya will be a great general manager.
She was good in SmackDown. She doesn't take shit from anybody.
I like Saraya as well.
Badass.
I like Saraya as well. I just don't know. I don't know if WWE. I know Triple H and Stephanie helped her a lot in her personal life. Now, are they willing to take that chance with that pressure for her to be in that light? Where only they know if she's in that good spot in her life to want to take that responsibility, because they don't want that egg on their face. That's why it kind of feels like it's AJ Styles. I think him and Sean and AJ working together. They're both men of faith, working together behind the scenes. Also Undertaker as well. I think they could work. I think it works there. I think that's the dynamic that they want, the atmosphere they want to put into NXT. I think that's something that's going to work out. I'm with you, Seven. I think it's going to be AJ Styles as the general manager for NXT. Not yet, soon. When the interim label wears off, I think that's where they're going. I think that's that conversation, because AJ Styles was summoned to Stamford, Connecticut, to the headquarters. It was to record the podcast for Stephanie McMahon, with the gloves or not gloves. Yes, they did do that. I agree. That might be what it was, but there must have been some conversations with Nick Khan and so forth financially to keep him aboard as some type of Legends deal. They probably pitched the matches that he wants, said put the cards on the table. And again, I think, to me, if they really want to keep him, general manager, he still appears on TNA television. He gets disrespected in one match. It doesn't even have to be a sanctioned match. It could be a street fight. And AJ Styles, never say never. He could still get in the ring on the TNA ring under the WWE umbrella with NXT. It just seems like that, Chris. I don't know. One thing that I do want to talk about that speaking of the collaboration, the Knockouts tag team title match, the Elegance brand taking on Zarya and Sol Ruca. To me, I've said it when I was doing the watch along, that was the best chemistry in-ring performance for the Elegance brand, for M by Elegance and H by Elegance. They were in sync. The ladies, all four ladies had great chemistry. The tag team maneuvers by the Elegance brand were so much on point, sharp. You know me, I give a lot of flowers to Maggie Lee. I think, I always said that about her. Wait until another year, in more bumps, more in-ring she's got. But both ladies, for live television, worked a phenomenal match. I always say the concierge, George, and brings another level of heel managers that's missing in the world of professional wrestling these days. But I got to give the one thing that to me is not grabbing me, that I find like the less is more when it comes to Ash. I like Ash. We were in your corner winning that Knockouts title from JC Jane and that triple threat, but something is disconnecting with me and Ash currently right now, Chris.
Yeah, the match was okay. It was okay. I think Sol Ruca and Zarya do a good job of making other people look good. Especially Zarya. I think she's super underrated. But Zarya helps a lot in that match. But I look, the Maggie and A or H as a team, like as wrestlers, they're improving. I'm not gonna deny that they are improving. But again, Zarya, if they had this match with anybody else, this is not a good TV match. So Zarya and Sol Ruca help a lot. I'm not surprised by the result. Again, when are we going to see Zarya and Sol Ruca kind of fade away? Probably not for a while. I could see Zarya going for the TNA title soon, but it was a good match. And the Elegance brand have they've been on NXT since the partnership, and they don't have a knockouts, or they don't have a women's tag team championship down there, so it helps them and helps TNA and NXT. So, and I didn't mind it. It wasn't bad.
I don't know if they're gonna do this with the partnership, because it's only gonna benefit TNA. So WWE, I don't know if WWE is gonna want to do it, because it's gonna benefit TNA a little bit more here. But if they were to have the Elegance brand, like the way Joe Henry worked with the coaches in NXT to get his wrestling skills bigger, because they had the eye on taking Joe Henry anyway to WWE to sign him. So I don't know if this is only going to help TNA have the ladies, because they do work on the weekends. They work on independent circuits. Have them work on the NXT house shows, defending their Knockouts title. You don't have to put great number one contenders, but put them in some of the matches, some of the ladies that they have, like, so, team up random ladies. This is house shows. This is live circuit for NXT. You're just there to entertain and get the wrestling bumps and have their chemistry work as a tag team, and maybe some coaches tweak some stuff from for the Elegance brand. They don't need the concierge going on the road, and if they want to leave Ash behind, whatever. Ash apparently comes once in a while. That's fine too. They don't need, but have them work some NXT circuits will help and benefit the Elegance brand as a team, and an involvement of M by Elegance and Heather. And we'll love that, on a random, tonight that they're in Jacksonville for the NXT circuit. They, Elegance brand's going to defend their TNA Knockouts title against, make a team. Nikita Lyons and some other, Nikita Lyons teamed up with the other karate girl, Carmen Petrovich, and they boom, but they're getting in the ring. My point is they're getting some
fair
ring, so they're getting some bumps, and when they get on television for the Elegance brand, they're on sync. They work quick. They're sharp as a whip. Because what's the point of having M go wrestle in some independent scene in Georgia. I'm using that, and Heather wrestles somewhere in the Northeast. They're fighting they're picking up bad habits from other independent wrestling women instead of working together and sharpening their tag team prowess together to make the TNA brand stronger and make the TNA Knockouts tag team division greater, and also helping the NXT women wrestle against these type of ladies. Well, it's a win-win, but I don't know if NXT and TNA want to do that. I don't know if they're contractually obligated, if they want to share the gates for the TNA talents to come on. They did it with Lince Dorado was doing that, and also Joe Henry and a few others TNA wrestlers were coming back. Why not the Elegance brand? They could really use those reps because they're getting better and better, and they need more reps.
I like that. No, I agree.
Even Xia Brookside could use these bumps. She shouldn't be wrestling, and no disrespect. She shouldn't be wrestling in Maryland wrestling. And I love you ladies. Naya Robis, she was our first wrestler. That company that you guys were wrestling in, Xia should be wrestling in NXT on the weekends, not there in Maryland. I hate to, again, we love the independent scene. We want to give you guys, but the Coney goals are ceiling. NXT to WWE is the big boys, the big leagues. We need Xia. Doesn't need to be playing around in the minor leagues. Xia needs to start getting in that level of the big leagues, and I think NXT will help. I know she's been there before, but in the independent circuit on the house shows, it will benefit, especially with a company that's not going live every week. For TNA, I will love some of these knockouts to get that experience. Mila Moore, another one. I know she was part of the NXT brand before. Or another one, Jada Stone, her impressive match that we saw her on Thursday in that mixed tag match. A couple matches. It doesn't have to be every weekend for NXT. Sprinkle in some appearances, some guests. When they're taking a long time off from recording, when they're not doing anything live on TNA television, and they have like 2 or 3 weeks, like they're doing right now in Albuquerque. This is where they should be wrestling some of these ladies, so they could only it's going to do is making them better and sharpening their skills when it comes to live television, Chris. And they could treat it like live television, with the producers and even because they do record these NXT house shows, by the way. They do put film. They send a whole production.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's cameras. Then they have cameras. There's not that many. They don't got the people. They film it
for the wrestlers to watch.
Yes. For film studies, and breakdown, they do film it. They have a nice camera. They got, and so forth. And people work the cameras there. They don't have the guys on the floor, but they have the over camera to watch. And they do look at, they use a hard cam and everything, just like they're working for television. They do the same thing. They should be sending the TNA knockouts there. They should be doing, the ones that they needs the bumps, the reps, just to get their skill sets more and more sharper. I would love that. I don't know if they'll do it, Chris.
I don't think they're going to do it either, but I agree 100%.
And one thing we're going to get into TNA right now. One thing that I'm noticing that we're crossing over, because we're on the collaboration crossing over, was on NXT television, we're seeing this formation of a nepotism group where we see Urias Connors left Kale Dixon to be with Stax, to be with Lexis King, Adriana Grace, and Charlie Dempsey. We don't know. Charlie said yes. We left that there. They left that cliffhanger if Charlie's going to be the next nepotism or the second generation wrestler to join this group. Stax is not, but Stax is right now in a relationship with Ariana. They're about to get married, whatever the case is, and he's the TNA International Champion. That's that storyline around it. But he's growing. He's getting a group of nepotism or second generation family. Now we see it translating onto the TNA brand, where I'm a little confused because Adriana's this mega heel on Tuesday nights. Then Thursday comes, she's resentful to Santino, or let's say she's working Santino even more, where now she's getting a world title match against your world champion at No Surrender, Ying Lee, where she went to her father. Her father granted her that match to take on the TNA Knockouts champion, Ying Lee. I'm going to say this here. A little bit of a seed. Who is her best friend? For Xia Lee, Xia Brookside. Xia Brookside.
Yeah.
And she is also a second generation wrestler. Remember that.
Yes. Her dad's one of the main trainers at the PC.
they're recruiting second generation wrestlers. I wouldn't be surprised if Xia Brookside turns on Ying Lee, and that's how Adriana Grace wins her title. Storytelling.
Okay, I like that. I like
wouldn't
that.
be surprised that.
Yeah, because we saw it on Impact. We see
you said this. Xia doesn't hit for you. Brookside is not hitting for you. You just don't like her. Exactly. This is where I belong. A heel turn.
If she's serious.
No more This Is I Belong. No more Rainbow Sunshine's Unicorn. No. She's mad. She's mad.
Yeah, I gotta hear her speak. I gotta actually hear her cut it like a Tessa Blanchard type of heel promo. Like,
she's mad that she don't get no pop. She don't get opportunities. She don't even get phone numbers from cops that she was trying to flirt with. She's mad. She's just pissed. Xia Brookside's pissed at the world.
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that, but I do think so that means so they're with Ariana Grace and Ying Lee. Since we're talking about TNA. Since Ying Lee and Ariana Grace, the Xia costs okay.
That's how
we get that match at like a PLE on a Friday night, and then they have Ariana and Xia Brookside. Okay.
Yeah,
I'd be
in Nashville. This coming Nashville, they have No Surrender, the PLE of this Friday, where you're gonna have Xia Brookside, not Xia Brookside, Ying Lee, because taking on Adriana Grace for the TNA Knockouts champion. We already know that they're recruiting second generation talents. We just from NXT and so forth, and getting into there, and then you know they're going to be on TNA, and this is where one of the recruits that we don't see it coming is Xia Brookside, because they've been mentioning her father is a trainer in NXT. They have mentioned it commentary. They don't make it over the top because her dad wasn't really this big name that we like see him and like, oh, that's her dad. It's not like like a Santino. No disrespect to Xia Brookside's dad, but his name is not one of those names that household names like a Regal, like so forth. But she is a second generation wrestler that you could add into that group. And let's face it, they need another female. They got a lot of males in this group, not a lot of second generation females around out and about. But like Xia Brookside will definitely check the box there, where you can have Ying Lee and Xia Brookside go at it. I know the match with the world title wasn't great, but this is a babyface versus a babyface. This time around is going to be Xia being a heel, Brookside as a heel, taking on Ying Lee, where her wrestling cadence will be a little different psychology-wise against Ying Lee. Maybe it'll work. Maybe they could unlock something and make it a little personal. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, because let's face it, that that 6-woman knockouts match that we saw, the Elegance brand with Ash teamed up with Indy Hartwell and the Angel Warriors, that took the women's wrestling and made it go back 5 years. It was terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't like that match. I
expect better from all 6 women. I expected way much better, especially after I just saw this Elegance brand tag team match. And granted, that match with the Elegance brand had happened before the NXT match, but it feels, because they taped it, that happened 2 weeks before this match on Tuesday night. And maybe, I'll give that benefit of the doubt. Oh, right now they got better with more reps in the ring, but man, that was not good. I don't know. There's something about Ash when she teams up with that group. They tend to. It feels like the ladies at H&M, they take their wrestling levels down a bit because she gets in the ring with them, and when she teams up with them, even when H and Ash first got the Knockouts title last year, it felt like Heather dropped a little bit in her wrestling to not overshine Ashley, which is not. It kind of frustrates me because Heather could go, but she felt like she dropped down a peg. And also Maggie, and I'm saying again, I'm not saying Maggie's all this end all be all great wrestler, but it feels like they're dumbing down their wrestling moves because they don't want to overshine, Dana Brooks, aka Ash, which is like, why?
They have to.
We have an issue there.
They have to literally overshine, but I agree. No, with Ash, she look, I like her. I mean, she was really nice with me. We took a photo together. She was great. her husband Yuli was awesome too. But I got to be honest, it's not hitting for me either, because the way that she dropped that Knockouts title, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. We didn't get to see what she could do with it fully.
Right.
So maybe that was something different on her own that she could have branched out on without being near the Elegance brand, or at least being in matches with the Elegance brand. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt for that. However, she hasn't done anything since she's come back. For me, it's like to where I'm thinking she should win that title back, because she should.
No. You want her to win that? Yeah. You want that knockout title on her?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I want that knockout title on nobody in the company except Tessa. I think nobody in that company is worthy of a TNA knockouts title.
You've been fair about your take on Tessa. You've been fair.
Look, it's not biased. It's not because I think she's fucking great and I'm a huge fan. She's the only person on that roster on the knockouts division that makes me feel. Even sometimes I want to boo her, and I love her. Like, she makes me feel like even her cringy ass little friend Victoria. As much as I can't stand that podcast segment she did the one night, I mean, that was very cringy. But I mean, at least she, like, I don't know, man. Like, there's nobody on that roster I think is worthy of a fucking championship around their waist.
That's why I see it.
And if it is, it's Indy, and they book her like shit. Indy's the only person in that company. She's the only person in there. She's in the match, so this is relevant. She's the only person in that company that can say she's worked for WWE. No, I'm just throwing this out there. Worked for WWE, all this stuff, right? She has the name. She kept her fucking name, Indy Hartwell. Like, you're going to tell me you're not going to put the title on her? You're not going to book her as your top female talent when she's the most experienced, most well-known, most over, in the sense of if you put her out on the streets, more people could tell you who the fuck she is than anybody else? Why are you booking her like shit? And why do you have her in a, no disrespect? Actually, no, I'm not going to say that. But I'll say this. I'm not going to say specifically what I want to say. I'll tell you what I wanted to say off air, but she shouldn't be in tag teams. That's all I'm going to say. She needs to be booked better.
Indy's good, but I think the promo is what for TNA. I think that's what's holding her back a little bit.
And I agree with that, but she's still the only person on that knockouts roster that's even worth something because of her name and her experience alone.
This is why you need the title on a heel.
Who else can cut promos? Nobody.
No, and Ash is not good on the promo.
Fuck no, she's terrible. Ying Lee's terrible because of the barrier, obviously. Who else is bad on the Indy's not the greatest. Masha sucked when she was there.
Masha was not a good promo either. Jordan was okay.
No, she was not. She was okay. She was okay. Yeah, okay. She was okay. Deanna was good.
Deanna was great.
She was good at promos. Chelsea was good at promos.
Tasha.
Mia Yim was not too bad. But my point is, like, oh my God, Tasha. Why the fuck isn't she in the why is she playing valet to Metaphor?
She's a secretary.
Why is she playing valet to Metaphor? This not
order four.
I'm so sorry. Holy shit. We're covering a lot of wrestling chat. My bad.
I know. See 7-Eleven that said that. Honestly, it's just too much wrestling to keep up with.
Sounded like Cornette on that botch, but no. And they're suing the one girl that made that division fucking great.
Yeah, Gail Kim.
They're suing the one girl that made that division fucking good when she was she was in Jazz's position. Jazz, what are you doing? We want to talk. We talk about creative with WWE. Hey, what are we doing, Jazz? What are we doing?
It hasn't been hitting. No, because before Gail Kim's exit, let's call a spade a spade. Look, TNA has been great with us. TNA has been phenomenal with us. They open the doors to us. We get talents here on pretty much we ask and they deliver type of view. When we want an interview with them, they provide us with accommodations to their venues, their events, and all that. They put it this way, a first class organization in wrestling for at least us, a small channel like us, Sports Jedi Network. But let's call a spade a spade. Before TNA really did the collaboration, we used to have the Knockouts division par with the WWE division. And like about the top women, sometimes we even say the Knockouts division was better than the WWE's division under Gail Kim's regime. Watch, booking, whatever you want to call. She exits. They didn't lose much because they kept that good foundation in place. But then now the turnovers when they did the turnovers of new different women leaving and the talents, they haven't really kept it the well-oiled machine. They're lacking now development.
Can I be fully honest? Because I know TNA is so great to us, and we love everybody there. Nothing's gonna change that. But I'm gonna be honest. Anthem taking over hurt the Knockouts division, in my opinion. That's where everything.
I think
have they been good?
No, I'm just saying. I think Anthem always been there. I think it's just the exiting.
With Gail Kim under?
Just the exiting of Gail Kim. I totally agree. I think the exiting of Gail Kim has hurt the Knockouts division.
That's what I mean then. That's what I mean by Anthem. Yeah, that's what I mean then. I don't mean Anthem coming in and no, I just mean them getting rid of Gail. Yeah, that's what I meant. Them coming in and getting it ultimately does because they didn't have anybody to put that. And now I don't know Jazz's role, right? I don't know if she is the Gail Kim now. It seems like it. I don't know if she was there previously or what she was doing. I have no idea, so I'm not going to give her the blame too much. I just know that from what I can see, her, Sylvan, and Tommy Dreamer are the three people running the company. So Silva's doing the business, and those two are creative. So all I'm saying is I don't know if she is. I don't know how to explain it because go back and watch Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong. I mean, that's the best knockouts matches you're going to see in TNA history. Like her and Gail, I think Gail is the best knockout in that company's existence. I will argue with anybody about that. I've been watching this company since 2008. And I think Gail Kim is the best knockout to ever step foot in that fucking company. And that's why I'm so behind her, is because I have been watching her forever. I remember when she got the TNA. I remember her run. She is the best knockout in that company's existence when it comes to in-ring matches. She was her and Awesome Kong were the only ones brutally beating the fuck out of each other during that Spike TV era when nobody in the Knockouts division was doing anything. And I'll put Mickie James in there as well. If you're gonna kick her off fucking LFG for Michelle McCool, can you have her be in TNA? She's already with all this. He's the SmackDown GM. You can't put Mickie fucking James in part of creative for the Knockouts division in TNA. I rest my case.
Maybe she doesn't want it. I don't know.
And I don't blame her if she doesn't, because you know what? I don't blame her in the standpoint of her. She's probably really good friends with Gail and she sees what they're doing. She doesn't want to get involved. I understand that. I understand that. Or maybe she doesn't look. Maybe she doesn't want to get involved. Period. I refuse to. I don't want to believe she wouldn't want to get involved though, because she was involved with LFG. No problem. She had no problem being a part of LFG. No problem doing something with a company, right? So Michelle McCool takes her spot. Michelle McCool ain't taking her spot for TNA.
Maybe she got soured. I don't know. I'm just. Maybe she got soured after with Michelle McCool, the politicking of losing. And I'm gonna invest my love and my heart into TNA creative and a thankless job, and then I'm gonna get ousted out. How much more hardship is Mickie James or disrespect she's gonna get from the wrestling business?
I agree.
You know,
but TNA's giving her flowers. They inducted her in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, and I get it, but maybe she just got you know what? She's got they have a young boy in Donovan where he's, she wants to be there, and she's like, you know what? You maybe I don't know. Only Mickey James would know. We would love to have Mickey James on for interview to have a conversation about that as well. Not to get into personal, but just to find out, if that was an opportunity, she would love to be in the creative side of wrestling. I think she did something for Australia. She put on a couple independent show a couple years ago back when she first got in the LFG bug and all that stuff, where she produces a few things there. Look, one thing that they like to do for women's wrestling, and I missed that from Busted Open, is get Wednesdays, Women's of Wrestling Wednesdays. That she had, and she will always have a woman's talent on, and I think that inspired us, at least myself, to the channel. When we do a lot of interviews for the independent wrestling scene, we have like about a 70% women's wrestling in the independent scene to join us on the interviews. We have from all different types. Janai Kai, one of our great independent wrestling friends, that we have become a great friendship due to an interview, asking her to come on. From the different women's, from a Valentina, from a Janai Kai, we even hopefully we could get a Vicious Vicky on to join us, come up and have a conversation, because we want to know their origin story. So my point is, I missed that, and I was inspired by Mickey James to do your Women of Wrestling Wednesdays. And it's not about who you're dating and none of that stuff. It's just about, let me hear your story. Because there's other women out there that need to get inspired. They could do it. They could get in the wrestling ring. They could have a wrestling career. They could juggle multiple careers. And that's why we inspire to interview a lot of women independent wrestlers and women wrestling. So, yeah, I would love to talk to Mickey James. One of my inspiration to want to interview the women, independent women wrestling. So, yeah, that's something out there. And also, Chris, we'll find out what happens with this knockout division. Because everyone gets upset on why NXT wrestlers women's wrestlers take their title, because they're a superior brand in women. I think you mentioned that when we saw JCJ and Fatal Influence come out, when and JC just totally ate Marsha. Marsha Simons is a badass. She's a shoot fighting badass that I wouldn't want to mess with her. She like JC Jane just ate her lunch before Slammiversary. That built to that. And remember you telling me that. You see the difference head over heels.
Room, yeah.
We see that the difference between head over heels and doesn't mean they can't get there. They got good coaches there. They got great coaches of psychology and wrestling, and Tommy and Hunter, and Ace Steel and so forth. That's why I go back to my original thought when I said it would be great if they allow the women from TNA also to participate in the NXT live shows, house shows, so they could get their bumps rather than being on the independent scene like an ACW. They're not really going to learn, because they're going to go up against other independent lady wrestlers that they're also trying to make a name for themselves and get out of bad habits that are not television. They're independent. They're not being recorded. They're not being featured on the live television for the breaks, the stopping of the crowd, getting, the letting it breathe. The NXT on the live show is preparing them for that. And that will be beneficial if the TNA brand will work with them on a live house show. They don't have to make it a super card. They don't have to send everyone, but a nice rotating talent of some of these women in there, some of these knockouts to the live show. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think that would benefit both parties here. Something that was kind of weird and was it beneficial is your Mike Santana being world champion. Everybody and their mother is gunning after the big bad Puerto Rican from the Bronx champion. First and foremost, Steve Macklin said goodbye. Macklin, and that was a nice. I got hooked. I got hook, line, and sinker. Take my money. See, I didn't need TNA Unreal. They got me good when he gives him that goodbye, because we all know Mike Santana's first feud was Steve Macklin. And he's leaving out the door. The last person he's going to talk to him, and Steve talks to the camera, looks into the camera, and he has tears coming down his eyes. How much what TNA meant to him and saying goodbye. And then the turn on Mike Santana, he says, "See you down the road." And then he turns, Chris. I was like, "Oh, take my money. I want to see this match."
That's why I told you guys it was a work.
But did it get? Despite you knowing it, was it executed? How was it executed?
It was executed great. I mean, you had Steve Macklin. You don't see. He tells you you don't see the emotion from him like that, and you saw it from him for once, and that's what kind of made you believe. At least on TV, hell, it made me believe for a second. but I didn't expect that's what he would do. But I mean, that's a good. I mean, they could also do it with Eddie Edwards because he has a championship match, and from the case. So maybe from they bring that back from the feast. I don't know, but my point is like, I didn't see Steve Maclin just leaving like that, bro. There's no way. Like, it's not just for him. It's there. If I'm Carlos Silva, I'm making sure that guy does not leave. So I mean, to see him possibly, and we don't know. He's still on Twitter saying he's not signed. He left. Whatever. It makes for good speculation. It makes for very, very good conversation because we truly don't know. But that right there. They're not gonna. I hope they wouldn't do that and just leave it. But maybe they did say see you down the road, so maybe that was a way to get Steve Maclin gone for a while. But I don't know. It does leave me with some more questions. But I think we're gonna get that match. So I think Steve Maclin's he's sticking around at the end.
Here's the thing. You've got right now the world title picture feels like it's convoluted. Remember when back in July for Slammiversary, I asked you, I said, all right, Trick Williams makes sense right now because for Mike Santana,
Mike Santana, who would you have?
Now you have so many different. They have so many feuds, so many people. You've got now Nick Nemeth with the Collier shot, which I think there's a lot of convoluted circumstances. Like to me, it's like a golden parachute if they have to pull it off. In case Santana fails, it's something, and they want to. They have an excuse to yank the title away from him if they wanted to, but maybe because remember I think he hasn't signed an extension. I still think this contractual situation with Mike that could happen. I hope not, but they've got Collier shot for Nemeth. You've got now a briefcase for Eddie Edwards, and so forth. Now Maclin has a grudge feud that they could pay it off and could see him all over the independent scene and attack him and continue that feud going elsewhere. And of course, I think Rich Swann became a number one contender. I know if I put it on the graphic there's 4 different contenders. I think Mike, if he retained, and even Mustafa Ali could be thrown in there because Mustafa Ali has some harsh words to say about Mike Santana on the podcast, which is storyline related. If he takes care of those guys, I could see Maclin coming in and goes, wait, I got who's next? I've taken care of this, and then Macklin's music. Because I want, I have unfinished business with one guy who attacked me on his way out. You're not leaving out of here without. And Mike, I think Mike is going to be the culprit of bringing Maclin back in because he wants to kick his ass in a TNA ring. I think that's good for Maclin because Macklin's getting a repackage without changing who he really is, which is cool. They did this in an interesting way because if it's like you said a work and he's staying with the company. They're making Steve Maclin changing without really changing who really he is, just giving a different perspective look of Maclin. Goes, you know what? He doesn't really show emotion, but when he does, he's going to raise your eyebrow to want to pay attention. Next time he has an emotional moment, you're going to stop what you're doing because it means something special. And I love that from Maclin. I like what Steve Maclin is doing, getting a repackage without leaving with storyline if that's the case, and it's great because that's the last thing you want to do if you're in a professional wrestling, get stale. You don't want to plateau. You want to always elevate or take a step back to take 4 leaps forward. And I think that's what Maclin is doing, and I'm invested with it. I enjoyed it. Good job there. I want to see Maclin, Santana, hey, maybe we get it back at the Palms there on that Friday before Friday for a PLE or a live Thursday when they go to WrestleMania weekend. I know Bubba will love it because it'll draw more guys to his rooftop sausage party, on the Palms he's having.
No, I agree. They're definitely gonna do, and he'll probably be a part of that show if they do something at the Palms. So. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I love the way they did that. That was the one thing on the show that I really enjoyed.
I'm going to tell you another one that I actually enjoyed, and you're not going to think, and I'm like, oh, wow. Adam Brooks. Who is Adam Brooks? He's the guy that took on Trey Miguel in the opening contest, the guy from Australia. I was very impressed with him. Look, Chris, they don't have a lot of male up-and-comers. Mm-hmm. They have, and this guy, Brooks, he looks like a slimmer version of Hammerstone. He worked well with Miguel is a hell of a competitor who does all the modern day wrestling with the acrobats and stuff. I really enjoyed their match. I'm gonna be honest with you. Adam Brooks, if he's not signed to a TNA contract, someone they have to keep your eye on, because I was impressed. I'm sorry, that first impressions mean a lot, and I was very impressed.
Yeah, so was I. I thought the match was fine.
He got offense in. It wasn't a squash.
No, it wasn't. That's what I was gonna say. It wasn't a squash. It was a good match. Like the other ones were. There were squashes. The other ones. But yeah, no, that match.
That's what we wanted to talk about.
He stood out.
We wanted to talk about that because we both on Thursday night had different of opinion. I wasn't opposed of getting a couple of independent wrestlers or quote unquote enhancement talent matches on TNA because it's a tape show. I wasn't opposed of it. I know that you want to, because you're showcasing the wrestlers that went over at that time, where you have 52 or 50 weeks of TNA coming to your home on Thursday nights. You don't want to blow through so many of your roster wrestling, and you don't want a lot of repeat matches, because by August, if you keep the roster, you're gonna have a lot of repeat matches. You don't want that. So I don't mind the enhancement if they get over like an Adam Brooks. You just found a diamond in the rough, because you know what, even in enhancement he was very impressive. Maybe we got something with this guy. You never know when you're gonna find a Sean Waldman, an Adam Brooks. You never know when you're going to find, an Aldo Montoya. There's those type of guys that they start off as enhancement talents, or even Jeff Hardy in WWE, and look where they are. You don't know what the Hall of Famers you have because you gave them an opportunity as enhancement talents to be showcased and make an impression. So that's why I'm okay with it, Chris. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that evolution.
That's the one reason why I'm okay with it. I can see it from that perspective 100%, and I do like that, and I think you're 100% right. This is how I feel. This is my thing. You're now on AMC. You are on a platform that now you want to reach a global audience. You want to reach more people. By them putting out people that we have no idea every match for some show, to me, it's like, if you're trying to check out TNA, like, I understand you want to showcase that was more to showcase Trey Miguel.
Correct.
Those squash masters are more to showcase the Righteous. Like, I get it. The Righteous, they came off of a banger match with the Hardys. Like, I can understand those type of matches, but first off, we got 3 in a row. And I'm just thinking of it as a viewer. Like, I know I watched the product and I can know who some of these people are, but I'm thinking of it as somebody who maybe just wants to check out TNA, not for the first time, but the first time in a while. Like, who's this guy? Like, you might know Trey, but who's this guy again? Like, okay, like, I'm just thinking for the viewers, I think you want to put some people, because again, that show didn't have Nick Nemeth. That show didn't have a lot of people. And, we know that these shows are taped. We know that they're there. Maybe that hurts them not going live every single week, because I feel like if they were going live every single week, they would make sure they would put their big shows on the big talents on the card. Like, I don't know. To me, like, obviously you're world champion. Like, we saw him at the end. Like, that's good. But I don't know. Where are your stars? Where's AJ Francis? Where's the Moose? Where are the people? Where are the guys that the people recognize? I'm just thinking of it as a viewer on AMC, not as PGH Chris, the wrestling fan.
Here's the thing, to be fair, they taped that in the same day. So you're going to ask this wrestler to wrestle 2 times with the audience, where on the same card.
And that's where being taped hurts them.
And that's why this is where I come from. Boy, you would have hated Georgia Championship Wrestling. You would have hated AWA, because that's what they gave you on your weekly television, those type of matches. That's a throwback to, even the WWF Wrestling Challenge. That's a throwback to back in the day of the way wrestling was viewed in the past. Not everything in the past is always correct, but it's something that's not the point. My point is that they do that if they do 3 weeks of a taping of a show, let's say they go to Fort Lauderdale, and they're going to do 3 weeks of Fort Lauderdale. By the 3rd week, if they give me two different enhancement matches with different wrestlers that we haven't seen, I'm okay with it, because they're getting television time. It heated up. It made the Righteous look strong in that squash match, and it also showcased Trey Miguel. But Trey Miguel had a little bit of an opposition from an Adam Brooks, which
that
was
match
cool.
was great.
That was good.
That was a good match for Adam. Like that.
And then you had Rachel Leigh, who laid down for
Tessa. That's okay. Why the fuck is every match that she's in? It's against a squad. It's a squash match.
I think that's what hit your nerve. That's what hit your nerve because Tessa doesn't get much on television, left out, and then when she does, it's on a squash match. I think that's what.
Even Trey Miguel, he comes back, wins the briefcase, gets an opportunity. He's out there fighting who knows who. I understand the match.
It was a competitive match. That's what I get it. That's the only thing I'm going to give. But we don't know that's going to be competitive when you have these enhancements.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Gotcha. I got you.
That's my point. But I agree because look, it's cool to see some people we don't. It also gives me it makes me watch a little bit more because I'm like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're about. I want to know what you got. Like this was those type of handsome matches are good. Let me now that you're opening I'll say this: the type of handsome matches you want, or the Trey Miguel, that type of handsome matches. I'm fine with that. We got a good match. I still think it's still one of those things like you mentioned. Like I'm trying to say, I don't know what we're expecting, so it's like when you have this, I'm like, okay, Trey Miguel's in action, right? Like whatever, like. But the type of matches that okay, let me rephrase this because it just depends who. Like Tessa, somebody who I think should be at the top. She shouldn't be having these matches every single week, which is what she does. Somebody like Trey Miguel, who's coming back in, and maybe people are trying to get introduced to the AMC era. I understand that. And the Righteous too. I understand that, but to me, they're going from the Hardy Boys to these guys. Like, where are they going to go? Like, and they're going to go back to the Hardy. Like,
they're warming them up. They're warming them up.
And I understand that, but there's some good tag teams there. Like I don't know, like, and it's just I guess it's just certain situations. Like the Trey Miguel one was fine. I hated the Tessa one. The Righteous one was mixed. So you opened my mind. I think it just now. I just think it's just the situation of it. Because when I'm looking at it, it's Trey Miguel. He's coming back, right? You want to show him. I get it, but for somebody like Tessa, who this is all she fucking does, and she should be the world champion, I hate it. So yeah, to me now, I think it's just. Situation.
You don't think I got you could see my reaction, genuine reaction, not this Thursday, the week before, when there was a so-called enhancement match. When I saw, South Florida's own Rudy J was featured on TNA television, on a match. And she was the enhancement talent at that moment, but I knew who she was. I got to see her because I follow her story and independent scene. And I'm like, wow, that's great to see her on television. Yeah. The same thing on Genesis, the pre-show. To see Vicious Vicky teaming up with Indy Hartwell was a great moment. Was an exciting moment for us. So it serves its purpose. Yes, we have not gotten Vicious Vicky signed with TNA. That's not up to us. That's on TNA's budget and what they see. We as fans, we would love to see Vicious Vicky signed with TNA already, and even Ruthie J. I thought she looked great. I thought, her physicality looked phenomenal, to what the Knockouts division needs. Now but that's not on the talent. That's on the scouting and the creative and the budget to see if they're going to sign these talent. Adam Brooks should have not left Albuquerque, New Mexico without offering a TNA contract. That guy looks great, especially when you're losing talent. It would have been Leon Slater still having visa issues. We all know Leon Slater. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Leon Slater. Don't get me wrong. But we all know Leon Slater at the end of the year is going to be WWE bound. You need to start bringing in and scouting these talents that you could invest time. You could invest the TNA brand, who could get on television, become household names. Casey Navarro, I can't wait when he returns. I think Casey's the one that's going to slide into that Leon Slater role, my opinion. But my point is, they need to start bringing those guys in, bringing them in and making us as viewers get accustomed and get used to those faces on Thursday nights. Not the same old guys that when they gone, I'm not turning, there's nothing wrong. I love Eric Young. I don't mind Kazarian. They're getting a little older. Start bringing now you slowly but surely the Hardys start introducing younger at times, even if it's enhancement, it's okay, and let them get over. Tell stories. I'm okay with it, Chris. That's why I'm not. It didn't offend me.
No, I think that's well said. I don't think it was that. No, that's well said.
Yeah, so we'll find out what TNA will be live this Thursday. So Thursday and Friday, they will be both live, back to live action. Hopefully they get the production kinks out of the way, the nervousness and all that stuff. Because let's face it, when they're recorded, their product is much more sweeter and much more smoother than a couple lives.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, hopefully that's something that's not going to hamper them. Other than that, let's talk about the main event or the main event segment with Mike Santana getting attacked from the whole system. The system is revamped. I like the fact that this Bear Brunson, Cedric, Myers, Edwards feels different, feels fresh. Mike Santana got some help from the Hardys and now Moose. So we got a little bit of a 8-man situation, like a War Games type of deal. Do they have something like that, right? Like an 8-man, like a similar thing battle for TNA?
I can't remember, honestly. I think so, but I mean they're doing something at No Surrender, an tag team match. So
yeah, which is weird. Slater and Santana teaming up with no build because Santana and Slater are just champions. Nemeth and Edwards because
so maybe that's why. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what else to really add to the.
The only thing I could think of, Chris, Nemeth could call his shot on not just on Santana. He could call a shot on the X Division champion too. He's not just limited. He's not limited just to the world title.
That's where him not being there this Thursday doesn't help. So we'll see what happens.
Visa issues. Let's hope he gets there.
No. I'm talking about Nick Nemeth. I'm not talking about Leon. I understand the visa issue part. Talk about Nick Nemeth, but
they did tease it backstage when the week before
So
they went to fisticuffs. So they right now they didn't overforce it because another pull apart. When you're going to get the payoff? So they're not going to overextend the pull aparts backstage between Santana and Nick because then it becomes this again. Could we get in the match already? That's why they went away from it, in my opinion, from them too, and they brought in another set of eyes for the world champion in Macklin and then the whole system situation. But we'll find out. It's going to be a good one next week, going forward for No Surrender, the Thursday before for TNA Impact Wrestling. Let's go with our final topic here, Dynamite, and they wrestled on Wednesday. And the match is over. The champion got squashed in 30 seconds. And everybody
and Kenny and Andrade was the best match of the night. That was there
you go. And they're using porn stars in the front row. Female porn stars in the front row for Andrade Alito.
Look, I'll give AEW some attention for like 3 minutes. I'm gonna say this because I thought this Dynamite was fucking boring, like always, right? But I
didn't watch it, guys.
I watched it because I had nothing else to do. So I'm only gonna give you guys. No, I didn't like anything. I'm gonna give the AEW attention for 3 minutes because there's one more thing I think is more important than Dynamite that I want to talk about before we leave because we've been going on here for a little bit. Kenny Omega was a good match in Andrade. They would have had this match sooner if Tony. It would have hit for me a little bit better if he hadn't come back the way he did when he left right away. But the match I thought was good. I was entertained. I liked it. The main event was stupid. I'm going to say that again. The main event was stupid. Stupid. I mean, I waited. I actually watched Dynamite, a full Dynamite live. I usually watch it Thursday when I wake up and I go to the gym Thursdays and I put it on the treadmill. And I watched it and I waited for a main event that I didn't get. Now, this is what I think's more important than fucking Dynamite. But it's an AEW topic. Me and Kevin, this is really what I want to talk about before we end it. Kevin and I made a video a couple months ago where we talked about Ricochet's little animosity towards the WWE. Well, he's back in the news this week. He did a podcast and he paraphrased. I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said WWE took away his passion for pro wrestling. It took away the Ricochet wrestler character. What was like demoted
wrestling legacy.
It ruined his legacy. Whatever. Couple things. I agree, but I disagree. Why do I agree? You might ask. Well, I'm a black and gold guy. he was booked phenomenally on Black and Gold. And I think Vince McMahon saw, you know, I heard some other people's thoughts, and I agreed with him, but I disagreed. But I will say this. I do think a little bit that Vince maybe wanted to take him to his main roster earlier, and maybe that was a bad idea. I think Triple H wanted to keep him in Black and Gold, maybe give him a world title run. They stuck him with Aleister Black at the end of that NXT run, which was okay until it wasn't, because they moved them both up together as a tag team, Aleister Black and Ricochet, which hurt both of them. It hurt both of them, especially Ricochet. Ricochet had a lot of hype coming up out of North America, from his North American run. He was really, really good. Vince didn't capitalize. Vince didn't do anything on the main roster. He wasn't booked well. He won one Intercontinental Championship and got killed by Gunther and lost it. That's when Gunther went on his historic reign. I can see where he says that. Because he was a good wrestler even before NXT. In Lucha Underground, all these other places. Like, I understand that part. But the part where I disagree is, like, I can agree where he means, like, okay, I wasn't used well, or I wasn't used to my full potential, or I was booked like shit. Like, if he says that because of those reasons, I agree. But I don't think they demoted his or tarnished his complete legacy. That's where I disagree, because I think Ricochet, and look, he even said it. He met his wife there. They gave his wife a good platform, even when he did leave the way he left. They didn't forget about you completely. They wrote you off TV. Most with Bron Breakker taking you out, they don't do that to most people. Usually it's all right, that was your last match, you're done. They wrote you off. So, appreciate that from the WWE, that they didn't just say, all right, Ricochet's done. No, they wrote you off TV. If you ever wanted to come back, you could have fucking came back, because the story would have been he got taken out by Bron Breakker, and we haven't seen him since. But you fucked that up. That's another thing where I disagree. And dude, the Prince Puma Ricochet name before coming in the WWE wasn't worth anything. WWE made it worth something. That's why now that he's in AEW and they gave him the national championship, to fucking mean for him to feel something, because he's Ricochet. That's where I disagree with it. That's what I think is more important here than the whole Dynamite, because I mean, what the hell's going on Dynamite, right? So I send you this right away. As soon as I saw this, I sent it to you, because we talked about this. Like, we talked about this months ago, and Kev, nothing's changed.
Fair. For him to say that WWE ruined his legacy is full of shit. He's totally full of shit, burning his bridges. First and foremost, from 2018 to 2019, this son of a bitch was the North American champion in NXT. Where you had guys that everyone glazed, like a Velveteen Dream, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black.
Really good matches, by the way.
It was the champion there. One of the, you could say right now, Ethan Page. You just finished saying Ethan Page feels like the bigger champion in NXT right now.
He should have reworded it his main roster run. Because the NXT is WWE, right? Last time I checked. So you're 100% right on that.
They get a paycheck from Sanford, Connecticut. Then from 2019 to 2021, in a title where Holly Brace, Dusty Rhodes, Lex Luger, the United States World Championship. This son of a bitch was the champion from 2019 to 2021. While Vince McMahon was a creator, when you had guys like Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, Leo Rush, Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, the Revivals. What other fucking people were on there? Brock Lesnar, this son of a bitch, was the United States mid-card champion. Seth Rollins, Baron Corbin, all that. He was your champion. From 2021 to 2022, it's about a year. This ungrateful prick was your Intercontinental Champion. He was part of the I believe he entered the King of the Ring tournament and lost to Xavier Woods in the first round. But he was considered to be a King of the Ring. But he was your Intercontinental Champion, where he lost it to The guy that's fucking right now the top heel in all of WWE in Gunther. But this ungrateful prick says his career was tarnished. But it's okay for him.
With Logan Paul at SummerSlam.
Skills, yeah. That Royal Rumble moment in midair with also the Worlds Collide match with Carmelo Hayes for the North American title. Check that out. Banger of a match. Okay, that I was in the building live for. The skill set for Trevor, aka Ricochet, isn't the issue. It's when he opens his mouth. And the proof is when he's doing right now on the IWC and burning his bridges. Going after Jimmy Corderas. If you like Corderas or not, that's your business. But to the way he came out, so profanity, so low life. To Jimmy Corderas, a fellow member of the wrestling fraternity, it just shows you the kind of person he is. I understand if he was trying to come at myself, any other wrestling podcasters, anyone who's on Twitter accounts, but another fellow wrestling in the industry, brethren, who sets up the ring, does that like Jimmy Corderas, that's low life. I'm sorry. If you want to go after JD from New York and call him that, that's different. Because he's never, they like to say, you guys never taken a bump. You don't know the world you're in. But Jimmy Corderas is different. Jimmy Corderas used to fucking drive around Andre the Giant. That man, like him or not, that man he's been around history. To disrespect him like that and say, Trevor is not helping himself. They had to make if you want to look at that, they had to make a fucking another title for him to have. They had to make up and talk about, and because they cried, they shit about the speed title. They made a speed title and he was their inaugural speed champion. They made this title for him to have it. So is he really? What kind? Where are we coming from? Tarnishing legacies.
You make good points.
Just save your money. You know what? At the end of the day, your lights are on, your mortgage is paid, you're getting food on your table, you come home to a beautiful wife, you're alive. Who gives a shit? You got paid, right? From the WWE, right?
Very well.
You got paid, right? You met your wife in the WWE. You got paid well. You're taking care of Samantha's child, her from her previous marriage. You're good. What's the complaint about? You know what? Let them fucking talk. Make your money. Go out there and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's my take on Ricochet.
Well said. Well said.
He had opportunities. Is Ricochet ever going to be the WWE World Champion? Are you going to? And I said the same thing to many people on our channel that we have had that are part of the channel. They want certain wrestlers to be showcased. Are they going to sell out a WrestleMania ticket? If I'm going to put Trevor versus or Ricochet on the marquee against Mr. Iguana, are you guys going to? And that's night number 2 of WrestleMania. Are you guys going to pay? Or Dragon Lee? Are you guys going to pay for that for WrestleMania? Are you going to pay $1,500 to be in the building? No. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. There are certain people, let's face it, certain people don't have it main event. And maybe that's what they see in Chelsea. Maybe they think Chelsea don't have it to be in the main event. I'll bring it back to Chelsea because something we've been babbling about for a while now. Maybe they don't see probably that in Ricochet. You're telling me in Wembley all out, or for Wembley when they want to put 70,000 people, you're telling me Ricochet versus MJF is going to sell that building? Because that's not the first matchup y'all motherfuckers say. No, none of your sickos say that. Oh, I want with Ospreay. No one mentions Ricochet. Omega. No one runs to say Ricochet being the number 1 match, the main event on All In Wembley. And it's not a knock to him. It's not a knock. He's not a bad wrestler. It's not a knock to his legacy, his career. It's just some people are who they are, and that's it.
You're making great fucking points. I agree.
That's it. You are who you are in this wrestling business. Listen, I am who I am in this wrestling podcast. So I'm going to say a bottom feeder. Maybe that's who I am, Maybe I'm one of the guys that only get 30 people watching. Who gives a shit? I'm giving my opinion.
Yeah.
I never said I'm the best of the best of the best. But when the time comes when I'm get the opportunity to get tapped on my shoulder, I better be ready. Be ready. Be ready when that opportunity happens. When you get that ever happens, just be ready. Well, everything that you learn, get ready. Get when you have an opportunity. But to say you didn't have an opportunity, look at all the accolades we just spoke about you in the WWE. You had opportunities. There's been given to you. Just if you didn't financially save your money, that's not on WWE's fault. That's on you. That's on you. I don't know what else to add to Ricochet.
I don't know what else to add either. I think that was a good one. We'll see what happens with him next. But
we want him to succeed.
I think he could.
Brother, we don't want you to look to fail, bro. The more of us get, you're African American, I'm Latino. Don't give a shit. We both tan. The more tan people that make money that look good, that's what I'm in favor, brother. Yeah. I'm in favor. Let's go. Said. Make that money, bro. Make that fucking money, man. Make that generational type of money that you can leave for your next family. Who gives a shit about titles? And it's just something to hold you, like Vince said, it's about hold your pants up. Make the fucking money. Forget about what the fans say, because you know what? Regardless, they might not appreciate you now, but when you're gone, Ricochet was so great, we missed out. Just cut the noise out, man. Block the noise. Go forward, bro. Go forward. That's all we want, man. With that, I'm gonna end. That's all I gotta say here. We want every wrestler to succeed, man. Even if it's not my cup of coffee. Even Cody, when we didn't like Cody, we're happy that he's living up to what his father envisioned him, being the face of a company. Good job. Yep. Well said. So with that said, we want to thank Dude Wipes for sponsoring the show here today, this afternoon. Thank you, Dude Wipes. Thank you, Blackout Coffee. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/rumble. Save 20% off your first order. Or if you want to save each and every time you go to Blackout Coffee, use my promo code Sports Jedi 20 and save even more. Chris, give your final thoughts here.
Yeah, it was a good week. Good week. We go on the road to WrestleMania. TNA live next week. Hopefully AEW has a good show where there's stuff to actually talk about. But it was a good week. We had some good stuff to break down. And we'll see what happens with more news and stuff. We're getting at this time during WrestleMania where, things could happen. So keep an eye out. We'll be here to cover and talk about it as soon as they happen.
Indeed. And good luck on the Super Bowl. Remember, bet if you're doing wages, bet with your head, not over your head, and good luck. But I got some sad news that I have to say before we depart. If you're a fan with heavy heart, Brad Arnold, the founder, lead singer, songwriter of Three Doors Down, has passed away. Yeah, so yes, his famous song of Kryptonite. Heart prayers out to her friends and family of the singer. Thank you for that song, Kryptonite. I remember listening to that. I'm a big Superman fan. You can see all the comic book stuff behind me for Kryptonite. So yes, may he rest in power. So guys, have the rest of your afternoon. Enjoy. We'll see you for our live streams. Don't forget, we do watch-alongs here throughout the week, recaps and interviews. So may the sports be with you guys. Have a good night.
Tune in to Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network channel. May the sports be with you. Because I am the hero the Sports Jedi deserves, but not the one